Sport Subaru, Sport Mitsubishi.
Right in the heart of Orlando and West Colonial Drive. Go see our contact, Mike Stacks. He could help you out. I had a Subaru Forester. I drive a WRX now. If you go by there, you can get a Tom and Dan license plate decal.
Yeah, it's totally free. You can just stop by there, take a test drive, tour the dealership. If you buy a car from Sport Subaru and Sport Mitsubishi, you get to come in and watch a show.
Also, Don Mealy Chevrolet in Claremont. Go see J.C. Harrelson.
That's where you got your Silverado.
Absolutely. Or if you want one of those new mid-engine Corvettes or any Corvette, dmchevy.com. Also, Sport Subaru, Sport Mitsubishi, West Colonial Drive. Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan.
Samantha's here, and with us today, he's going to talk some law. We got a bunch of questions for him. Friendly Ray Trendley is here from My Kramer Law Firm, onefirmforlife.com. Why'd you play the fart?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
I was holding for a while.
Ray's here.
I try to be more polite when there's ladies in the room.
I apologize. That was me.
How you doing, Ray?
That was not you.
Okay.
That was me.
How's the baby doing?
Baby's doing well. Family's doing great.
All right.
Awesome. Business staying busy, so all good things.
Perfect. Now, before, I know we got a lot to talk about because, because of some scheduling things, we hadn't had you in for a while. So we built up some questions because every time we have a question, a law question, we're like, hey, we should ask Ray when he comes in here next. So Samantha, because she's awesome at her job, wrote down some things because I was like, didn't we have something to ask Ray? And then I was like, well, I guess there's no way to ever find out. And Samantha's like, I wrote it down. And so first question was, so you've seen the green scooters around town.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And now they have ones that you actually can sit down on and ride. They just, like, a couple weeks ago, introduced them into, like, downtown and Thornton Park or whatever.
Sure.
So these actually are more for, like, bike lanes and the street because you sit as opposed to like a razor style.
They rip.
Small.
Sure.
Like I saw a dude like right over here that's just
They actually have
cranking
governors on them, so they actually restrict the speed. I think they actually go a little bit faster, but I think they're like limited to 5 or 7 miles per hour.
Is it all computer controlled, or can I take that off myself and put it back on?
I'm not the mechanic who works on scooters.
I'd have to talk to somebody. There's got to be a way to flash that using my phone.
So, Ray, the question is, because to me, I was like, because I'm always interested in the business side of things and like
always
how this business runs, how much money they make. Like,
won't watch how things are made, but it's all about how business.
And so I'm like, how is this scooter company? I understand the business side of like, you go, you swipe your credit card on it, you rent it for small periods of time, blah, blah, blah. And, they pick them up, recharge them, whatever. I understand the logistics, but I'm confused about the legality of it because to me, if your business plan was like, hey, I'm going to drop off a bunch of these scooters that people are going to ride on the street with no training, literally
no helmets, no nothing.
All you need is a credit card.
Saw this yesterday with my wife. Craziest thing I've ever seen on these scooters. It was a whole family. It was a dad with a kid standing in front of him, and he's riding, and they're ripping.
What could go wrong?
A mom. Kid on her back in like one of those, what is that thing called? Bjorn?
A baby Bjorn.
Baby Bjorn, and then and another kid in front of her. So there's 3 people on that one,
God.
and then a little kid that's totally not old enough to be riding it, riding behind.
No,
all 3 of
his
them,
own.
no helmet, and they're just ripping down the sidewalk. And Andrea, she was like, "Do I call the police?" I was like, mind your business, Grandma. Because I want to be cool, but at the same time, I did feel a little uneasy.
You also want to, it's like watching a train approach a car that's stuck on the tracks, right? You're like, I kind of want to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of was waiting, but there was being a dad now, there was a little glimmer of like, oh, guys.
Parental concern.
Humanity. You haven't crushed that little part of
a little bit of
humanity
love. Like, don't do that, guys. Don't do that. Don't do it.
Because the kids
I've
don't know
seen
any
a
better.
wipeout already on one of them.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did.
I've seen so on Instagram and on Facebook of people wiping out, those downtown Orlando.
My Lyft driver almost ran over the guy that fell in front of us.
Yeah.
That's the best combo.
It was bad, yeah.
Do you pay for that?
I don't know.
Now, we had this conversation on the show, and everybody was saying, like, well, once you swipe your credit card, you, like, enter an agreement on the app, and you click OK, like, hey, I promise to follow the rule, blah, whatever.
Sure.
Does that hold up?
But we all know that's loose legality-wise. Also, I mean, in a world where you can get sued for having like an attractive nuisance in your house, like in your backyard, you could be sued for having a pool, and then some kid wanders back there and drowns in your pool. If you didn't have a proper fence, you could be sued for it, even on your own property. it seems to me like this is a gigantic liability, dropping off a bunch of scooters and having people ride them with no helmets on the street, untrained, where they could easily get hit by cars.
And my question around here, because I've seen the kids looking at them, is that, I know for a fact that there's going to be like a 14, 15, 16-year-old kid who can get access to his mom and dad's credit card, scan one of these, and then just go ripping around the neighborhood. I would do that.
And let me say this, though. I'm all for let everybody do what they want. I hate the litigiousness of our society. I'm I'm more of a less government. Just let the people think, because I'm fine with the scooters, but I'm just curious. How does this happen when we're suing everybody every which way, and this company's like, just drop off a bunch of scooters, go have at it, we're fine.
It seems like a recipe for disaster. Now, the city of Orlando has specifically endorsed this program, and so it started off with a pilot program where they had a permitting process.
God, that's even more dangerous because nobody knows how to fly an airplane. Wow, Ray.
You fly your own. I can take off.
Part of the permitting
people think
process.
I'm really stupid, don't they?
No,
they think I'm stupid for sure.
So part of the permitting process, I'm sure, is requiring people or companies to get suitable insurance policy limits to cover any type of accidents. I'm assuming it's, 2 million, 10 million, 5 million, something to that number, because you got a family of 5 ripping through with scooters. I mean, it's potentially,
it was insane.
And so, that's part of is shifting the responsibility. So the city is generally not going to absorb the responsibility, because the companies, as part of their permitting process, are going to acknowledge and assume a lot of that responsibility. Now, I haven't personally used it, but I'm assuming when you swipe your credit card and you go through this process, there is a checklist of recommendations, right? Wear a helmet, make sure that you're safe, make sure you're not swerving in front of vehicles, whatever. Be 12 years of age or older to operate, and
is it 12?
I don't know what it is.
It's probably 16 at least.
I'm trying to think what it used to be for like dirt bikes when I was a kid. I think it was 12 or 14.
Well, there's like a Crossbuster with. I've never paid attention to that. It's too conservative.
There's always a sticker.
It's like 16.
It's funny because I do remember seeing stuff like that as a kid, and my dad was the same way. He's like, "Oh, just get on and ride it." What are you, P-word? I mean, that's how we grew up, right?
Does it surprise you that this company can operate like this and without the worry of just getting sued out of existence? Because as soon as someone gets hit by a car, I mean, if multiple people...
We put on an event and we worry about it.
If you're riding a scooter and you get hit by a car, call the Kramer Law Firm.
There you go.
I really do think that it's a lot of potential for an issue. I mean, like you said, we all know how driving in downtown Orlando is. We know that people are not paying attention, and I think it is a recipe for disaster. But like I said, they've got the insurance policy limits to cover, at least the company's standpoint, to cover any kind of liability that they're going to have. And the insurance company, if they get a bunch of these claims, the rates might go up, and it might end up running this program out because, you're just not making any money off of it just from the cost of maintaining insurance.
So the verdict's still out whether this business model is going to work or not based on how many people sue them. Right?
And I'd be curious to see how much money they're making off of it, too. I mean, obviously, there's the initial investment in the GPSs and the scooters and everything else.
Employment, people have to go around and service the bike.
The damage, having people
then you need vehicles to carry the other vehicles. I mean, it seems extremely expensive to me. And the thing that was always surprising to me as a person, I guess I use this term loosely. I don't do it as much anymore. I do it indoor. I have a Peloton bike.
Sure.
I'm a cyclist. Before, I used to ride, I was riding 20 miles every single day. I'd ride the roads all the way up to Katy Way Trail, and then I'd just go.
Sure.
But riding roads here on a bike, I think we were voted worst in the nation. Sure. I believe we were. Sam, look that up. I think Orlando was listed as one of the absolute worst places to ride a bicycle in the world.
Yeah.
And we're going to add bicycles and scooters. It felt weird to me that we were bringing up, you know what I mean? I'm kind of we just got voted, and I know because I ride the roads, right? I know how dangerous it is, and then we're going to add all these bikes, and people aren't going to wear helmets. I mean, look, Dan Paul has...
It is currently rated the most dangerous city in the U.S. for bicyclists and pedestrians.
I told you.
I believe it.
So we're going to dump all these scooters and bikes, and because Dan Paul and I go back and forth, and we joke around about wearing bicycle helmets, but the truth of the matter is, and I know, even we have even buddies that have been injured.
Sure.
Not wearing helmets.
Yeah.
So you are supposed
Wear
to
a
be
helmet.
18 years old
God.
to ride the scooters.
18.
You're supposed to be.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's a contractual thing too, right? You have to
Right.
be 18 to enter into a contract. You're signing a contract when you use the credit card. So that makes perfect sense.
No way.
You want to choose.
No way.
You want to choose your activities.
Raise your kids better.
Where it takes multiple mistakes and then maybe bad luck for you to die, not just one mistake. And that's the thing, like with the scooters and riding anything on the street, motorcycles, I don't think all it takes is one mistake, dead.
Not even you.
One time,
It may not even be your mistake because, sometimes you're in a position where it doesn't matter what you're going to do, you're going to hit something.
Dude, I was going to buy a Ruckus because I love riding yours.
It's so fun.
And I just have to ride down Lakemont to get here. I was like, I'll just ride a Ruckus to work. And all I keep thinking about is I'm sitting at a light, on Lakemont, and then someone's just texting and then just hits me
that's
from
what
behind.
happened to Dan Stone. Dan Stone was down by Casey's before he left to go to Brooklyn. Dan Stone was down by Casey's on his motorcycle, and a person on their phone wasn't paying attention. He wasn't even moving. He's just sitting there waiting to go, and they just ran right into him.
Yeah. As a bicyclist in a bike lane, I've been hit before, rear-ended.
Oh my God!
Over by UCF, and this is a couple of years ago. But I was in the bike lane, stopped at a red light, and somebody wasn't paying attention, just drifted over into the bike lane and hit me. Luckily, I kind of hopped off the side. But I mean, I've been hit more riding my bike in the Orlando area than I have ever being hit in South Florida.
Yeah,
and I don't.
It's bad around here.
It's real bad.
It's bad.
And second question before we get into it, Daniel is going to get his golf cart from his mom. And
I forgot about that.
I've been talking to the wrap
it's
company.
ready to go. My mom wrote it. She said it. Oh man, it was blowing her teeth off. It's fast.
We want to wrap it, Tom and Dan. Bring it to Baldwin.
It's got monster truck tires.
Sweet.
It's one of those ones that douchebags have at campgrounds.
And
I would be careful on the douchebaggery.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, some people in this room may have had golf carts with big mud down.
Wait a minute, you have a douchebag golf cart too?
Not anymore. I got kids.
You got rid of it?
Yeah.
I have to sell my douche cart. Come on, man.
We loosely looked it up on Google. Samantha said we could ride it in any street around Orlando.
And I take her word as basically Jesus Christ.
I said, let's not go with what the internet says. Let's ask Friendly Rage Friendly.
I didn't hear that part.
There's a lot of false information.
I didn't hear that part. I only heard you say, we're good to go, boys. You may have never said that, actually.
We just make it street legal, put a license plate on it, and
register it.
Yeah, and then register it.
Do I have to drive it up there and get them to look at it and inspect it?
I think you just fill out the form.
Yeah,
if I don't recall.
It's all forms.
All forms? I can let you do it. Sam, fill out the forms.
How much do you pay for this boat? $3,000.
You can't drive it on any road, right? It's got to be under a certain mile an hour.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the case.
I'm going to drive it right on I-4.
In Miami, they do that.
And you were worried about riding a bicycle.
Yeah.
So basically,
It's
the question
quiet.
is,
I'll be able to hear cars coming up on
when we get a DUI on this thing, we're going to call you. Is that cool?
Can't get a DUI on it, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
No seatbelts.
above the law. Oh, yeah.
That's the rule. No seatbelts,
My
no
Uncle
DUI.
Randy told me that.
I don't know.
You
You're
can
still
get
going to
a
get
DUI on a bike.
No.
I've heard the no seatbelt, no DUI.
No
thing.
seatbelt, no DUI.
You know, we're just going to go ahead and say that's
it's also if you no blow, no DUI, right? Yeah. You can't go wrong.
Never blow.
Yeah.
Because it's not even a car. You're like,
Speaking of DUIs, you want to play that voicemail?
they're going to be like, we'll take away your license. I'm like, you can't. I'm not driving a car.
I don't even have a license.
You don't need a
Joke's on
license. You don't need a license for a golf cart, you dumb. Joke's on you, cop.
Yeah.
Rolling the dice with the law. I love it.
Yeah, then I'm screaming.
Call Kramer Law Firm when you get arrested.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just fill out the forms, get it ready, wrap it up, and
street legal,
and just make sure there's no Yeti on it.
yeah, driving around,
Yeah.
and then stay
Good
off the
Stay out of the campgrounds. You're not going to be well liked.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's play that Mike P voicemail.
You want to hear it?
I can't wait.
Wait, you want to hear the actual voicemail?
Yeah.
I did. You want to do that with Ray here?
I thought it was a question for Ray.
No, it's not a question for Ray. No, it's just drunk Mike B.
Oh, no. What does
There's
he
like
say?
6 of them.
Oh, God.
Ray doesn't have enough time to stay
You're
here.
right. We'll play that later.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. What do we got, Ray?
I got some questions from you guys. This is one of my favorite topics that keeps coming up. It's dealing with concealed carry permits and medical marijuana licenses. And we've talked about this a little bit in the past.
It's like the number one question I get that our listeners want to ask you, because who would have guessed that our guys like guns and marijuana? It's weird.
Who does? Literally. Also, I'm always surprised. They're like, I'm not getting my medical license because I lose my concealed. And I'm like, have you ever been high? How good that feels? I'm like, how good does it feel just to have a gun on you? Like,
I tell people all the
I understand
time,
the power
like,
thing,
if
but
you like shooting guns, you should shoot them high. That's fun, my God.
I got to recommend against that.
Okay.
Legal recommendation.
The next thing I was going to say is you shoot them from your golf cart while you're drunk.
While intoxicated, right?
Yeah. We're not intoxicated high. That's not the same thing, right?
I get
we were talking about the DUI on the golf cart.
Intoxicated is
mixing
liquor,
stories.
right?
I only drink on the golf cart when the brake pedal's completely pushed to that lock
good.
position.
So, the legal definition of intoxicated could mean anything, right? Does it only
Samantha's
mean alcohol?
beauty is intoxicating.
It's to the extent that your normal faculties are impaired. That's our definition.
Don't say faculty.
It always.
When people say that, it's like I think of your bowels.
So what do we got here?
So I go back to the 2011 ATF open letter, and again, just kind of remind people, ATF will sometimes publish these letters to deal with common questions that they're receiving or reoccurring questions that they're receiving. And they basically go back to say, hey, it's against the federal law if you are either using or possessing a Schedule I controlled substance, as we know marijuana is, regardless of whether or not that should be that way. That's what it is.
Yeah, most people disagree with that, but hey, it is what it is.
And so when you complete your 4473, which is the form that you fill out when you purchase and transfer a firearm, that you have to check yes as to whether or not it's any illegal substances. Now, they've actually, I printed it out, they've actually amended the 4473 a few years back to specifically include whether or not you use or possess marijuana or any other depressant, stimulant, or narcotic drug. And it says, the use of or possession of marijuana remains unlawful under federal law, regardless of whether or not it's been legalized or decriminalized for recreational purposes where you reside.
Now, let me ask you this, Ray. Though, if you have your concealed already and you go get this is what a lot of people think, that you go get your medical marijuana license and then they somehow know, the government knows, like, oh, he got it, and then they red flag you and they come and get you. I've been telling people, I have no idea, but I tell people, lots of things.
I don't think that's likely. Right?
I tell people, like, they don't know, there's no system that, like, a red flag comes off, like, where because it's also under HIPAA.
So it's not like there's a guy that sits down at his desk every day and he has a stack of, concealed weapon and a stack of medical marijuana, and he's like, all right, got a John James here. Let me check this pile. John James. Oh, there he is. All right, get his guns.
But the problem is, if you get pulled over and you have your concealed and your medical marijuana on you, that's the crime that the federal government saying this is illegal.
Well, you got to lie about one.
Or that's the problem, right? It forces you to lie.
Right, and that... I'm being serious.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what screws you up.
And then, in addition to, kind of using the, analogy of you get pulled over and you've got both IDs, not necessarily that you have to present both IDs, but let's say you're involved in a shooting, right? Your self-defense, is justifiable use of force. And now, here's my concealed carry permit, and it does pop up that you've got a medical marijuana card. That's, again, where you're coming to a problem, because even though there's no criminal penalties, assuming it was justified use of force, from using your firearm, you've now committed a federal felony as it relates to this issue, and
it could be a lot bad for you. Yeah.
And then if they decided in some weird way that they wanted to make an example out of you, or if you were not exactly being the nicest, having a bad day, they could right? They could
absolutely. So that brings
put it on you.
That brings me to the story that I read back in August, and I didn't really do anything with it back then, but and I don't really know. I don't really know what's going to happen. Politics are interesting, and a lot of people do a lot of different things for a lot of different reasons. Our current Commissioner of Agriculture, Nikki Fried, is admitted
like a bass player for Poison or something.
Is admittedly a medical marijuana card holder and a concealed carry permit holder. When she was running for election, come get it. She stood on the courthouse steps with both in her hand and said, "Come get me." If the feds want to come get me, come get me.
Basically daring.
That's basically
that kind of makes her a cool dude, right?
Well, her fiance was, and I don't remember the company, he was the CEO of one of the major medical marijuana growers for the state of Florida.
Interesting.
I think he resigned once she got elected. I don't quote me on that, but I think that's what happened. So
okay.
I think there's some political aspiration there. She definitely rubs a lot of people the wrong way because of how blunt she is about all of this. But basically daring the federal government to come in and intervene. And to this point, it hasn't come up. And I mean, I think that there's political backlash either way it goes. And I think part of the reason why nobody's done anything to clarify this, departure between federal law and state law is nobody wants to take that bad rap for, hey, this is the position we're going to take on this, because it's not going to be a popular view when you say we're going to take your guns away because you need to use a prescription, right? That's not going to go over well. And similarly, it's you've got to use this narcotic drug instead of marijuana because, hey, listen, it's just different.
Right. You could be on pain
either
pills,
way, it
you could be
doesn't
on
work.
Xanax, you could be whatever, and be fine.
Oh, by the way, that's good too.
Yeah. Or drink.
But the viewpoint on opiates right now in our society is so bad that there's no winning for you to take a position on is that you need to enforce both. Although that's what the law does say, right? You've got to enforce both, and the federal law preempts the state law. And so it's a disaster.
Ray, it seems to me that really it comes down to the only real problem is you can go get your conceal, if you have your conceal, go get your medical license. But when it comes down to it, the risk you're taking is if you are in a situation, albeit super rare probably, where you have to shoot your gun legally to protect yourself, then it could be a bunch of mess after if they come to you and they're like, oh, he's got his medical license too, and then it definitely could be more of a headache for you, or actually a crime, or maybe your rights to use that weapon are taken away because you were committing a crime because you had your it muddies up everything.
Very similar, yeah. I mean,
only under that situation, probably, right?
Well, some
or
situations
pulled over.
Similar to that, right? I mean, any time that you can get pulled over, right? And officer says, do you have any weapons in the car? Well, yes, I do, but I've got a concealed carry permit. Do you have any drugs in the car? Well, yes, I do, but I've got a medical marijuana permit. Again,
then it's
there's other kinds of scenarios where you could get in trouble, but it's all going to be some type of involvement with law enforcement, is my guess. Very rarely are you going to probably get popped for having both by accident,
Right.
All this ends, by the way, once it's federally legal, right?
Presumably, presumably. States have control over concealed carry permits, so it would make sense that with the viewpoint on using Florida as an example, with the viewpoint on marijuana changing drastically over the last 10 years, that it would all get squared away when and if it is A, removed a Schedule I drug, or B, completely removed from the...
And in your opinion, professionally, it does seem like it's gotta be headed that way.
Something's gotta give.
This is going to, as more and more states make it legal, it's just, this is the, what we've seen with gay marriage, or, where it's this is obviously going to be federally legal. It just depends on when. It could be 2020, it's going to happen.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to happen.
All right.
Just when.
So I want to be able to smoke weed and shoot my gun while I'm getting married to my boyfriend.
You could do that now.
That might still be illegal, though. It'll probably be something like,
all at the same time.
Shooting guns.
I want it all at the same time.
If it's on your private property in a area you could shoot a weapon, then no problem.
My big gay ranch. It's awesome. You should see it.
Well, you got to also check the city ordinances and the county rules, and there's all kinds of things that go into place whether or not you are allowed to fire a firearm.
It is weird to me shooting guns in the middle of nowhere, because I'm like, am I allowed to do this? And I'm shooting. Remember, we were shooting guns into a trash pile, and I'm like, is this allowed? Am I allowed to shoot guns?
We're just going to say, for purposes of this conversation, where you were shooting, it was allowed at that place. Yeah,
we shot a Desert Eagle. What else did we shoot?
No, ARs.
We shot a Turkish AK.
That's pretty cool.
That was pretty neat.
When the Wizard lived in Gainesville, he lived on 5 acres, not that far from UF, basically down the street. But it was in the state. It was right where all the college ends, and then just the houses,
all the farms begin.
Yeah, so he lived in that place, and we would shoot guns it was legal because of his property size and the county or whatever, and just go back there shooting into trash trash piles. Like, you have this old shotgun that would probably explode in her face. I was like, where'd you get these? Like, I got it at the pawn shop.
Yeah.
And we were blasting it into the. Fine. It did seem weird, though, because
it's weird.
daytime, like, the college is like only a mile down the road.
I always feel a little, like, skeeved out, you know? I also look around at the people that are shooting with me, and I'm like, if any one of these guys decided to just
I think about that.
freak out or something,
Yeah.
you know? Like, what if he's like,
That's
hello,
rare.
hold on a second.
It has happened.
Hey,
It
guys,
does happen.
before we start shooting, my wife's calling me. What's that? You're leaving me.
Oh no.
You're not taking those kids. Hello? Then he starts killing all of us.
Well, that's when he slowly move his gun over.
No,
from
he's
the
holding
table
it in his hand and he's shaking.
Oh, no.
He's mad. He starts shaking.
That's how you have got it.
He's like, I'm blacking out. I can't. All I see is red.
So,
See, I'm more uncomfortable shooting like
And then
in
I'm
a
like, shoot
building.
it first.
I'm more uncomfortable shooting in a building, like at one of these local gun ranges. I am shooting out in the woods somewhere.
Because you can run for the woods.
well, the gun ranges, it seems like those incidents happen there.
Yeah, I mean, usually at the indoor gun ranges. You know, you hear occasional stories of accidents at the outdoor gun ranges, but for some reason, I feel like it weeds people out when they have to go stand out in the sun.
I see what
know?
you did there. Weeds people out, tied it all in. That's why he's a master, folks.
What? Let's go. I think we had only time for one more
One
story.
more. Let's do one more.
I got a quick one here, which is: can police legally run your plates if you haven't committed any traffic infractions?
That's got to be a yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because don't they check to see if you have warrants? and
Yeah,
stuff?
they can absolutely do that.
Yeah.
You've got no expectation of privacy operating your vehicle on a public road.
Sure.
And they're checking a state-run database to, check the license plate. And they don't need any probable cause or cause at all to run your license plate. Now, it's a little different if they're going to, arrest you or pull you over. There's a couple of exceptions to having to need probable cause. For example, like you ever see those DUI checkpoints? We have a carved out exception in the law for those. Those are good for general purposes of, safety. So
You always know when they're running your plate too, because they get right in your ass,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then they're like, he's like, "No, they're on the computer." and then you think, like, "What have I not paid?"
Right from the front of the car.
yeah.
Have you seen those?
What is it?
It's their camera reads your plate. Like they're not even doing anything. They like come up-
Microsoft artificial intelligence.
No,
yeah.
really. So
Yeah.
they have a camera. So they don't have to type anything.
And
in.
even beyond that, they have another little transponder that sticks to the front that they can, if they like not pit maneuver you, but if they bump you, it'll stick to your car. That way, they'll just let you go, and then they'll find you later.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You don't watch it
I haven't
on
heard that.
Live PD.
Like I said, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, on
That's
Live
cool.
PD, you got to watch it on Live PD. Yeah, they'll if in some counties they have a lot more like a bigger budget or something in new technology, and they'll bump the car and it'll stick to the car, and then the chopper in the sky will just be like, we got them now. Like even though they could follow it, doesn't matter where they go, they can use GPS to find it.
So to
That
stop.
seems super dangerous.
Well,
Well, it's only I think it's only
High-speed
used in
chases.
high-speed chases, so
Yeah.
that way they don't have to high-speed chase you.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like, yeah, fine, go.
because then you kill an innocent person.
Correct.
Because the
and then they just let you
person-
roll,
yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah.
you're already
That makes more
You're already
sense.
tagged.
yeah.
Do you think if I have like a little gun, like a little air gun or something that would shoot it out, so you're actually, putting two vehicles together?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
Some
like it
sort of
when they read
harpoon.
the plates though from the car. I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
it makes
cool.
sense why that they have that technology. Why not? And
If you want to freak somebody out, like I like to pretend to pull people over because I have like cop lights in my
Yeah,
car.
yeah.
And then I get out of my car.
Terrible
and then,
idea.
And then I
Don't impersonate law enforcement.
I touch the back of their car. That
Yeah.
they're like, "Whoa, he's a real cop." When I touch the back of their car,
You know what to do.
You got to touch the. Yeah, I watch enough to know what to do. I touch the back of their car. They're like, "He's touching the car in case I."
Big aviator sunglasses.
Do you
They're
remember-
like, "Why is he dressed like Jimmy Buffett's nephew?"
Do you remember when professional motocross racer Bubba Stewart pulled someone
Yeah.
over and it was an undercover cop,
Yep.
and then like it got into some sort of weird? Why would he do that?
Because he's a
It's
kid.
bizarre.
He's a kid with too much money.
But
Bad idea.
even the rich kids that I knew or that we talk about, like I never knew them to want to like impersonate a police officer and pull people. That's a bizarre thing to
Yeah.
do. Like weird.
That is one of those ones that like
Why
a
is
lot of people
odd?
do it, right?
I don't know about a lot of people do it, but it
crazy
seems like a
people
really
do.
bad idea.
A lot of guys that like can't go in the military or don't make it through like police
You
academy.
see it a lot in the military. Yeah, I guess
they,
that's true.
They
But what's-
freak out and they're like, "Well, I got to do this," so
power
they become a
complex.
security guard at Kmart, and then next thing you know, they're pulling people over.
Yeah. But what's in it? Like you can only do it a couple times before, like someone's gonna call the actual. Like this not a cop. Like it's like something's gonna
Like
happen.
this isn't a ticket.
That-
this
that's-
is a
you just get an old
this is a
cruiser.
receipt from PDQ.
Yeah, What's in
It was
for them?
delicious though.
Yeah, what
Like,
is
you can't
this?
do anything. So it's just the power of like this person's scared of getting a ticket, and then you then you don't do anything, and the person's like, "Wait a minute."
No, you always let them off. Well, I mean, I would assume you would always let them off with a warning.
Yeah, for some sort of favor.
Not that I would know or anything. No, you're just like you're okay. Look, I'm a little bit late to go into a briefing about a real murder case or something, and I have no idea what police do, so I'm going to let you off this time. Or you do the move where you're like, oh, what? Oh, you got another call. You got lucky, and then you get in your car and you drive off real fast.
I've actually had that happen to me before. Maybe it was a fake cop.
Yeah. Might have been me.
It might. Well,
They
it was
have
in
a
Maine.
mustache?
Were you cruising in Maine?
Was I mustache and full blackface?
Definitely not.
Yeah. I mean, not real black, but like
No,
Super Troopers.
Like more
He's got a pass, though.
It's Polynesian.
David A. Arnold said
It
he
was
could.
Polynesian. More like a Moana vibe.
It was like Jay
You're welcome.
Chandrasekhar.
Yeah, exactly.
Last question, and this is a question that I've had for years, and now that I got a boat again, now I'm not going to put you on the spot now, but I'm going to give you like a month or so to research.
I know. 'Cause I can look in Ray's eyes and tell that we've almost got to do it. We've almost filled the glass, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we get the that's what I'm talking. Like the water's actually over the
you
rim.
get what's that called? The meniscus at the top. You know?
You're like, it's over the rim.
It's like, look at that. What's holding it together? The tension of the water, the water's skin.
The ship is sinking right now.
Oh, I know.
So I've never figured this out. I've asked this question for years. Daniel can attest to how many times I've asked this question on the air, and no one's ever known. The
sorry, I
cops,
didn't mean to laugh at you.
the lawyers.
I know what you're
Kramer
gonna say.
doesn't know. No one knows.
I think Ray knows.
And
Ray will solve this for you.
so I just need. I'll give you a month. The next segment, we'll come back. We'll figure it out. But what happens if you get a BUI on a boat? Does it actually affect your driver's license? And if so, does it affect it the same way a DUI affects it? Is it considered the exact same?
It's almost the exact same.
You know this?
Yes.
Okay, so literally, if you get a
Oh my
BUI,
God, you've had a BUI before?
I have not.
so you go to court and you face the same penalty as a DUI? Exactly?
It's almost exactly.
So they take away your driver's license, not your boating license.
I think it's both.
But you don't really have a boating license, right? So you have to take away your driver's
I
license.
think
I don't even know
if
what
you're
that is. I thought
born,
that
I don't
was a
remember
joke.
what the year is. I think it's if you're born after like 1976, you have to get a boating license, something like that. It's been a long time since I took a boating
If you're
license.
under 21.
Maybe that's what it
Yeah,
was.
the Grizz went
Been
to
a long
prison
time.
for this. And he's bad.
But I
His
know-
whole life has been ruined.
But I know your driver's license does get suspended. And I know that the criminal infractions are the same.
Okay, so you knew. All right,
Yeah.
so that's it.
Dude,
Why was it so
that's
hard?
terrible. Can you imagine you're just
Yeah.
out on your boat
It's-
having a couple beers, you get a BUI, and now you can't drive
If
and
you
go to
go
work?
down
Yeah, it seems like it shouldn't be.
That's-
Look how wide the river is. Like
Go
I
down to
could be-
Boca Bash. Could just go asking people. They'll all know the answer to the question.
Yeah,
If
you're right.
At least put up the alcohol limit to like what is it now? 0.3 or
0.08.
0.08?
What do they make you do?
Oh my God, dude.
How do they make you walk a line in the middle of the river?
They don't. They
bring you to the shore.
breathalyzer, and then they do the finger. I got out of that one
They do
time.
the finger?
Well, yeah, they follow my finger. You have to look at the knuckle.
The
You have to
stagmus.
Never
And
look
you're
at the
standing
finger.
on you do the thing.
yeah.
You're like 1,000, 2, 1,000,
And never just
3.
never say you had one or two. That's a you're instantly guilty.
Just in general, I'm going to recommend nobody drink and drive or
No.
drink and boat.
Dangerous.
That bad idea. But the worst thing you can do is say, I had a couple. Or I
You
only had
admit
one or two.
guilt.
Because at that point, you've given them all the probable cause they need to continue their investigation. So it's much better to just keep your mouth
I
shut.
like the honesty.
And-
There was a girl on
Honestly,
IPD
does
2
that
nights
work?
ago. They pulled her out. They're like, have you been drinking tonight? She goes, 5 shots. That's all I had. 5 shots.
And she was like 100 pounds.
And I go, oh, I started laughing so hard. I go, 5 shots. Oh, you're done.
Because you can multiply that by
and then
3,
she
and that's how
started-
many shots she
and then-
actually
and then
had.
she started crying and like kind of shaking, and then her shirt started riding up, and her muffins started spilling out. Oh, it was great. It was just great.
All right, Ray. If you want to talk to Ray Trindley about any legal issue,
Yeah.
that's why it's onefirmforlife.com.
Ray's.com.
Yeah, nice.
See?
Yep. And,
Ray's my new best friend.
And you could talk to Ray, Steve, and a bunch of other lawyers.
There's a ton of staff there that can help you out. OneFirmForLife.com, and you guys specialize in just about everything you can think of, all your legal needs.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks, Ray.
Hey, man,
Thanks
always
for
a
having me.
pleasure seeing you. Thanks for coming in. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with more A Corporate Time right after this. Welcome to another A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I am Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer, is here. What hoodie today, my friend? Is
The
it
old
the classic?
DOG classic.
Why aren't you wearing the super soft hoodies that are on sale at tomanddan.com?
Did not bring it with me today, and this is my office.
I didn't bring
hoodie.
mine either. You know why? Because the last one I had here from 2 years ago, stolen.
Stolen.
We need to get you another one.
No, I have this year's.
Oh, the old BDM
I
one.
don't have the yellow. Remember the one with the yellow BDM patch on the back?
Yeah.
I don't have that one. That one got stolen. But the other, I'm probably doing what your wife always does with her shoes.
Yeah.
Just say it's stolen, but really I misplaced it. Right? Isn't that
Probably.
sound a little more?
My wife yesterday when we got home, she's like, "Someone stole my watering." Like, you know how you water flowers?
Your
or whatever?
watering can? Oh my
Yeah.
God! What kind of neighborhood do you live in?
I was like,
Jesus Christ! They're taking the watering can.
I was like, no one stole our watering can. I mean, no, it's nothing. And she's like, someone stole it. It's not here. I'm like, it's somewhere.
It's in the raccoon house.
And then I started looking around for it.
Yeah.
Couldn't find it.
But it's there.
But yeah. No one goes to.
Did you ask your children?
No,
They
don't-
like to move things.
Yeah. Did you ask Concrete Mike? Maybe he was using it as a ashtray for his cigarettes. He calls in a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but I've never gotten his messages until today because I went through all the lost messages.
Oh, yeah,
this
yeah.
morning, and there's like 90 from Concrete Mike.
Oh yeah.
Really good ones. And one, he's like, help!
Oh, no.
I couldn't do anything. I was like, when was this? Oh, it's December. Okay.
Sorry, Mike. Yeah, we had to go back and retrieve some of the old voicemails we
Yeah.
had.
Let's do what we do on Wednesdays, guys. We have a new song from Pariah Mike.
All right.
And this one's been in the hopper for a minute, and it is none other than Elton John.
It's a pointless moment, just how we pass the time.
I thought that was Elton John for a
This
second.
bit is just filling days in between the haze. Daniel says he loves it. We all know that's bullshit. Just give us what we all want. Bring back the Buddy Band. And Thomas feels this bit's just right. Just right. He doesn't have to do any research or anything at all, really. He just reacts to your stupid ramblings about your 9 to 5. And I
Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
How dare you?
What
I was about
happened?
to start crying.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Hold on. What happened
beautiful.
here? I don't know what happened. Oh, that's it.
That
No.
was
No, I got it. I just got to go back down here and go to the middle. I'm so sorry. That's all right. Go right here.
search or any ramblings about your 9
I didn't know that would shut it off.
And I would rather hear about Turtle's cat.
That's an old reference.
Something inappropriate Seth did. Do we have any footage of Sam from foot golf? Anything's better than this bit.
How dare you?
Does he put the full outro on it, too?
I don't know.
I liked when Elton John's voice changed and he's had to go to the,
Yeah.
yeah. An old man.
On line one is
Jeff.
Hey, Jeff, what's going on, man? You're our winner.
Hey, I'm Fat Slob of the Week.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
you
are.
are.
Hey, welcome to Fat Slobs of the Week.
Good job.
Is it a Weird Job Wednesday song if you don't have Fat Slob in there? I thought that was one of the rules.
Pariah Mike plays by his own rules.
Yeah.
He's a lone wolf.
He goes more making fun of the show, which I like, by the way.
I do too. We need a dose of that.
Yeah. I'm like, he's right. Everything he said, he's right.
100% right. Yeah, Mr. Honesty is what we call him. Pariah Mike, Mr. Honesty.
So, Jeff, what is your job?
All right, I do this part-time. I'm an attorney, but as part of the side hustle, I am a traffic court hearing officer.
All right.
So you get to see a lot of people in baggy dress shirts.
That's right, with the tag still on them and the stolen thing that they clip off when you pay for it.
Yeah.
A lot of Ralph Lauren sport.
Yeah, and burnt orange Nautica.
A lot of burnt orange Nautica.
Yeah. So, what does it mean to be a traffic officer?
Well, it's the traffic court judge. You're not technically a judge. You don't wear the robe. You're not elected official. But you are designated by every circuit. Every county in the state has a traffic court hearing designation for somebody to hear the traffic cases that the county judge doesn't listen to.
All right, Jeff. Well, I got a bunch of questions for you because I'm glad you called in with this because this has been a mystery for a while. Ever since I
heard this was in demand. Yeah. I knew you've been itching for this, so I thought I'd call in.
So, Jeff, I've got 2 tickets. Now, here's the thing.
To paradise.
And I want to compare this with Andrea, too, because Andrea got a ticket for running a stop sign, and she elected to take it to court, hired Hunchuck, and the cop showed up, and then basically that was it. If the cop shows up, then it's his side. Doesn't matter what you say. It's like, all right, is you're guilty.
The really crappy thing about that is that I know for a fact she didn't run the stop sign.
Yeah. And then And then, so let me finish, Jeff.
Whoa!
I'm sorry.
Take.
I got a speeding ticket and stopping too close to the railroad tracks ticket.
To the reindeer.
Then both in which I was fully guilty. I bitched about it a lot. But come on,
you were guilty.
You guys know.
You're the 180 of Andrea. Yeah.
Whatever crime I get charged for, you guys know I did it.
If I see you on the news, I'm like, yeah.
Anything, I'm like, I was bitching because it was kind of like, I shouldn't have, this is close, there's a gray area, but, the letter of the law is guilty. Anyway, the cop didn't show up for both my cases, innocent. Hunchuck got me off, and by getting me off, I mean just he showed up and the cop didn't.
I was going to say.
Yeah, so it's not like you have to argue it. So is that literally the system? So you get a ticket, and then say you request a court date. You go there. If the cop doesn't show up, you're off. If he does, you're guilty.
Not really. I mean, here's the deal. So also, I don't know how it works in a lot of other counties, but I know there are a lot of people that count on, listen, if I'm going to show up, the cop's not going to be there. Now, I have the exact opposite experience. The cop usually shows up for everything. A lot of these guys are in there working traffic types of things. So, Tom, your ticket was for something they were like running a detail for, I believe, at a track. Is that right?
Yeah.
They were pulling people over left and right.
Yeah, it was like 20, 30 people that day getting pulled over.
So it would surprise me that guy in particular wouldn't be there to stand in to get all of those things. But, of course, if he doesn't show up, then the state can't proceed with their case. There's nobody to put on any proof. And you do automatically win those things if you're challenging a ticket and the guy doesn't show up and he hasn't put in for a continuance or given some excuse why he can't be there. In Andrea's case, and I remember the situation because everybody swore, listen, there's no way she ran this. But as the judge, you go in there and you have to kind of weigh the evidence. Now, Hunchuck could have challenged the evidence and put the cop on and had the cop, give his testimony, and the judge has to listen to it. But you got to figure everybody in the world is going to go in there and say, listen, I didn't run the stop sign. That's all the evidence I have. You just got to trust me. I'm a trustworthy person. And the cops in there really with not that much skin in the game. They're out there running tickets, and they think they saw it, and they give some testimony. You have to weigh that evidence.
Well, isn't it the same evidence? So it's his word against her word, right?
But if you're basing it, then why don't you take? Okay, you would have to take the cop's record, right? And how many tickets he's written that were actually legitimate tickets that actually went through, and then you'd have to take Andrea's driving record, which is flawless. Yeah. And if you compare those two,
you could cross-examine them. Yeah, you could rip the cop up and say, "Isn't it true?" I mean, nobody's going to do that kind of homework very likely into this particular cop to be able to do that type of cross-examination. So,
I told Andrea she should go to his Facebook page, see if he says anything even closely slightly racist. And, we cancel this guy. We cancel him. We literally ruin his life.
So, basically, when it comes down to it, if you're the, traffic officer and you're listening to the cop's testimony and the defendant or the person that got the ticket, the cop's word weighs heavier than the person, right?
Very heavily, yes. No,
he's getting you good. Very heavily.
Just listen to a podcast.
My favorite ice cream is Heverly Hash.
This
when I die and I go to Hever.
This won't end well. We all see it coming.
Do you believe in Hever or hell?
Go ahead.
You take people when you're talking testimony. You're just taking people at the word. So it's not that you can't. If Andrea comes in and just says, "Hey, I didn't do this," it seems to me there'd have to be something more, something that would show her credibility or his lack of credibility. Can she cross-examine him, saying, "Hey, were you sitting in a place? Are there multiple cars that look like mine? You can't really see what's going on. It's raining hard. Somehow, how is it that he's making a mistake?" If he comes in and he's completely confident about it, and she's completely confident about it, you've got to weigh that a little bit. But I think it's a hard thing to overcome, which is why a lot of lawyers don't bother with that. Now, if she had a dash cam type of video like they do with all these Russian things you see on the internet, that's a nice piece of evidence if she had it, but I don't know a lot of people that run those, frankly.
So
no dash cam here, only a gash cam.
Will
check out her OnlyFans,
because I've always thought that everybody just wants to get this over with. It's all procedural, and if you go into trying to bring up evidence A and B.
But you don't like that, right? Yeah, you don't like that, right?
Yeah, you'd be mad.
If I got up there and I started cross-examining this and that.
Yeah, you're bringing up dash cam evidence. You're like, roll out the TV. They bring up the TV.
Yeah, it's on
the bailiff.
Yeah, it's like ratchet strap. Old tube TV ratchet strap to an old VCR.
Yeah, no one wants to do that much work. Yeah. You're like, just pay your ticket. It's $130 or whatever.
Yeah.
But you get
standing in front of me in orange Nautica. Just pay the ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the goal of most people, quite honestly, because, the bulk of these are speeding tickets, and guys are running scientific machines to show how fast you're going, so that's a hard thing to beat. What the attorney's really trying to do most of the time, and I tell people who come into my court about this, is get what's called a withhold of adjudication, meaning I'm not going to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the adjudication, and the reason that you're going for that is because it doesn't give you points, and the points are the things that bump your insurance up.
Let me ask you this, and I know you didn't make the law, and you have nothing to do with why this law exists, but me and my wife were talking. We've gone through all of our traffic schools for life now, and we can never. And we were like, hold on, if a murderer murders someone at the age of 18, does let's say 35 years, gets out of jail, and our whole society's like, all right, he did his time. Now he can live his life free. Because that's
you guys are worse than life. You're worse than Michael Vick. You are. You're worse than Michael Vick.
For life, I can never take a traffic school.
You're done. You're canceled.
That's it.
Cancel him.
What other laws for life? I feel like this is you always get a second chance. Bankruptcy, 7 years. What?
You're like traffic school Harvey Weinstein is what you are.
I could be 80 years old and get a ticket, and they're like, "Sorry, you wasted your traffic schools back in your 20s." And that's it.
Hard time now. Now you're doing hard
Nothing
time.
And never.
There's even a line.
What?
There's a line on the driving record that says, how many have you taken and when's the last time you took it? So if you're out, every driving record I've ever seen has got that line right there on the bottom of the first page. It talks about the 5 and out rule.
5 and out?
For life!
Oh, you're a 5 and outer? And your wife, too? How did you both? You're 10 and out.
What about give us 10 years, like a penalty slap on the wrist, and then, like, when I'm in my 50s, I get some new ones? Like, come on! That's it!
You gotta change the laws.
Can anybody change that? Like, if you went...
Can I petition? Can I start a platform?
Change.org. Do it.
Yeah.
I'll stand out of the farmer's market and have some
I'm
people
not signing it. But I smell the kettle corn. I'll be right back. I'll hit you when I get back.
Yeah, that's it?
I mean, it's in the statute, so you have to go to a legislator to change the rule.
I'm not a statute. I'm a man.
Can Jeff Triplett do anything about this? I know him.
What, the smoking mayor?
Wow.
I know the mayor of Longwood, too. Can he do anything about this?
Yeah. How many mayors?
You're 5 and outer for
Buddy
life.
Dyer kind of knows me, but I feel like he distanced
He took
himself.
a picture with us at Hullabaloo, but he was also like, guys, I got somewhere to be.
Yeah. He knew.
Yeah, you're the little one for the radio. You're the bear guy. I know. You look, I gotta go.
Yeah. So he's done with it.
If Tom gets
Triplett and the
three
wrestler,
mayors, if Tom gets Wrestle Mayor, Smoking in the Grass Mayor, and Buddy Dyer to speak on his behalf, can we change the law?
Maybe back in the 90s, not nowadays. That's 90s radio stuff. That doesn't work nowadays.
I was being serious.
We were not joking.
Yeah, I was not joking.
We have no idea how the government works, and we assume that mayors have some sort of power.
I didn't know they were just figureheads that wear gator shirts and introduce Sugar Rex.
Sir, you should know this. Everybody at your court is us. And worse.
Yeah, understood.
So is there a dress code for traffic court? Like, can you show up in shorts?
Tank top?
Will you kick people out? Do you have a gavel? What do you got there?
No, I don't. I don't know any judge at all that uses a gavel.
Can
anymore.
I buy you a gavel?
And I wish they'd bring that back. I'll take a gavel.
I have a gavel that I bought for my mom when I went to Washington, D.C., and I toured the Supreme Court, and I thought that she would love it. It says Supreme Court on it. It was very expensive. I will steal that gavel from my mom, and I'll give it to you.
Can you bring a gavel?
When you get angry with those, they break. Yeah, they crack really because you usually just sort of super glue the head onto a stick, and if you're angry, you knock that right off.
This one's beautiful, too. I ponied up for the cherry wood one.
Keep going.
And it was engraved Supreme Court in there?
He's got a silver band around the actual, the mallet part, and it says Supreme Court on it. 91.
Yeah, that fit in with the dress code. No, I don't know of any judge. You know, when you're talking a circuit court or something higher, there are judges that'll put a sign out that says, don't come in here if you dress like this. But it's traffic court. I don't expect people to be wearing their tuxedos. I can deal with the coral sky-colored button-up. That's fine.
Well, no.
Even a T-shirt and shorts. It's okay.
Okay, so if I like shorts, flip-flops, T-shirt, but
flip-flops.
I don't know. I might have a brain tumor. I don't know. So
I mean, I suppose I may size you up if you're going in and you're saying, "Hey, I'd like you to believe my word over the cop's word." I may, look you up and down and say, "How serious is this guy taking it?" There's maybe something of that.
What's wrong? Is it my flip-flop? Are you judging me?
So, have you ever had someone freak out?
And try to threaten you?
Yeah. Then the bailiff has to tase them.
Oh yeah. Oh, they get mad. That if sometimes they don't know what they're doing in there, and they'll want to claim. I get a lot of people saying, "Hey, the cop was rude to me, and so therefore you should throw it out." There are people that think I have a lot wider discretion because they see things on the internet. There's that old guy from Rhode Island who, listens. He's gone viral a couple times. If you take your kid to breakfast, he'll dismiss your ticket type of thing.
Oh, I love that.
I mean, I have to follow the law.
I love old judge.
I hate creative judge.
And then every once in a while, he gets a veteran in there, and the veteran's like talking about how he is speeding because of he's trying to get to the VA, and then the old judge is like, "Oh, okay," and then he dismissed because of America.
Yeah, he says, when did your wife pass away? And the wife died 5 years ago, and he's lonely, and the judge gives him a break. It doesn't really work like that's a TV show or something.
You know what I would do? I'd be like, when did your wife die?
So that's not real?
Yeah, I'd be like, when did your wife die? And he'd be like, well, she died about 3 years ago, and she's never been the same since Dottie left me. And I'd be like, we're going to have a lot of time to think about Dottie when you're sitting behind bars.
For life.
So good luck, and, good day.
Like, can you hold someone in contempt and, like, put them in jail?
No,
like, what can you do?
I don't have contempt powers. No, I don't, because I'm not a judge, so I can't take away your civil liberties. Now, there's bailiffs in there, and you can call a county court judge in to explain what had gone on, and you could hypothetically they could hold somebody in contempt if they were really going crazy.
This guy was mean to me.
But, yeah, so you don't want to do that kind of thing. But there's order in there. There's law enforcement that'll people getting a little crazy, they get them out of there.
Do you tell them to settle down ever? Do you have like a rapport? Are you ever like funny with them?
Yeah, I try and keep it light. You know, you don't want to crack too many jokes, but it's not, there's no death penalty cases running through there. So a lot of people are in there with human stories. A lot of people go in and they don't want a trial, but, you know, they go in thinking they have the defense of, well, I had to use the bathroom real bad. Well, that's not going to cause me to say that you're not guilty of speeding. But, you know, I'm going to look at that and go, all right, I'll look at your record. If you're somebody like Andrea, you got a clean record. You're in there, you're hat in hand, you feel really bad about things. You do what you can for them. Do you need a little longer to pay the fee? Do you need to change community service hours instead of paying money out because your dad's got leukemia? You can do little things like that to help people.
Have you ever seen someone argue their case and do a good job and actually convince you and then get off?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the thing about that is sometimes when the cops kind of hear what's going on and there is a real defensive situation there, the cops will dismiss it on you. I mean, that's something that attorneys do all the time. They know these cops. They can go in and say, hey, this is the situation. Some, you know, law enforcement guys are humans too, and they understand situations. And I think the best thing that lawyers can do is when they know these guys, sometimes they'll work out little deals and the cop will give you a break or they'll bring in some reduced ticket in order to not have a trial. You know,
wait a minute. You mean that the whole time you had diarrhea? You know what? Dismiss the ticket. I had no idea. And I'm human too.
I hear that one more than any.
Diarrhea?
Yeah, I've had people bring pictures in, like, look what happened.
Look at my diarrhea.
Diarrhea works a lot. We were talking on the BDM show about calling out late.
I can't imagine carrying around a picture of your own diarrhea.
Right.
At all times.
I put the USA Today next to it so you can see the date.
So you know. Look, that's today's paper. That's today's paper. Just that's a freshie.
So, have you ever had an
instance
is
Exhibit A
where the cop was lying in the courtroom and then the actual person proved it, like he was lying? Like, you ever catch a police officer in a lie?
I haven't, and, you know, again, if we're going Logic Man on something like that, you'd wonder why they'd be so invested that they'd risk their career on lying on something like that. So that's especially, you know, again, we're not talking a murder here, where we're watching The Wire or something.
Well, you're talking to Tom, who is already imagining himself as a lying police officer.
Yeah,
right? If I go into later life, if I go to police academy and I become a cop, I'm definitely going to become a crooked cop.
Yeah, of course. And then I'm going to write someone a ticket, and then when they call me out and take it to court, I'm like, God! And then I have no recollection of it whatsoever. But just in the fact that I wrote it, I'm going to be like, I'm doubling down that I'm
supposed
right.
to be voting today.
Yeah. And then I tell this elaborate story, and the person has the dash cam, and then I'm like, oh. Oh, go for it now.
Yeah.
So
that's not going to go well for you.
Yeah, so I don't get many guys that come in, you know, and I get I don't have a lot of guys that had some secret racist tendency, and so they decided to get into law enforcement because they wanted to effectuate that racist tendency out in the real world. You know, it doesn't happen much.
Wait, was that what you were going to do?
No.
Hot take.
I thought that's what he was alluding to, you wanting to be now not a crooked cop, just a racist cop.
No, I will be racist. I'm just drunk with power, trying to, I just want to steal from the criminals and from...
Let me, look, I don't want to go too far, but let me just see your bra strap. I'll let you out.
I don't want to do, some light harassment.
Let me see that big Playtex Coner. Let me see that cross your heart.
And then when I'm, doing a big bust, I'll, put some stacks of money in my trunk.
Rub a little cocaine on your teeth.
I'll divvy it up with the other guys so they're all behind me. And then when the one good cop comes in, we'll...
you know how I found out?
Ostracize
You know, I found out I was driving to work one day and I looked on the side of the road and I found 12 to 15 of those sheriff's bears that they give kids when your house is burning down or your parents are drunk and have a DUI. But you would pull those out of your trunk and put them on the side of the road so you could fiddle the cash in. That's how I caught you. That's how I caught you.
I threw all the
teddy bears out. I was like, wait a minute, why are all Tom's fire bears doing on the side of the road? He must have been stealing cash from that bus last night.
I took my county issued AR too.
Yeah, just lay it with the bear
for the money.
I'll just cover it with these bears. No one will ever know.
All right, Jeff. So, what do you make extra when you do your traffic court deal? Like, what does that pay?
I don't know. I think this money kind of works out. So what you get, and this is again, this is sort of public record stuff, so I'm not breaking any secrets. But you get $50 an hour or so, and what that equates to, because there are people in Orange counties and bigger cities that do it full time, is more or less you're talking about $80,000 a year if you're doing it day in, day out, which equals about a $50 an hour pay rate for reimbursement on doing that job.
It seems not that good,
all you have to do is sit.
Yeah,
get yelled at.
Yeah. But I
do that right now.
Is it interesting at all, or is it so monotonous?
It's different every day.
Is it the same old BS over and over, like the speeding ticket, because you do enough of these, or is it actually interesting? Like, how is the actual job?
I mean, there's an interesting thing that happens every day, but a lot of it is sort of administrating cases. So you're talking, most of these dockets are running probably 100 cases in the morning, 100 cases in the afternoon. You got to move through them pretty quick. So you're looking at, you average out about 2 minutes a case or something, and then you're going to have that one that may slow you down a half hour, and you got to kind of catch back up. So. Yeah, it's I think when people think of lawyers, generally speaking, there's a wide range of money that you can make. You're not looking to get rich if you're doing this type of work, even on the side. That's why it's not something I would do full time, and a lot of other attorneys would never consider to do something like that. But it's also good government work, and so there are people that enjoy it very much, and that's not, I think I went to law school hoping I'd get rich, and that's not necessarily the reality. Especially coming right out nowadays. You can make a real good living for yourself. But, I came out of law school and started as a prosecutor, and this was back 20 years ago. But I was making $24,000 after having done 7 years of school prosecuting crimes here in Florida.
Wow. Are you a prosecutor now?
No, I gave that up. And, I do pretty well for myself at this point. So I on the upside of things, you sit and do work for 20 years and build a practice, and you can make a lot of money. You can get into the hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. I don't want to say no problem. It takes a lot of work. But that's kind of the range of things. And I think it takes you a while to get up on your feet and for people to take you seriously and to be legitimized as a good attorney who knows what they're doing before you get into those upper amounts. I think prosecutors now, statutorily by the law, they start out in the 40s or 50s. So it's not terrible, but I mean, considering that people are racking up $100,000 of debt in law school easy, it's something that they kind of warn you against when you start law school. If you're talking to people out in the world, there are more schools than there were when I was here going to school.
What the hell are you doing watching our show or listening to it?
You know what?
Well, you might get a little more insight on this guy. Tell him about Uncle Jesse.
What is that, his penis? What are you doing? Have you been through his court before? I'll let you off if you go meet Uncle Jesse.
In my
I know you guys have been excited about the traffic court stuff, but the Uncle Jesse stuff is pretty funny.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't want to know about Uncle Jesse. I did not trying to get out of a ticket.
What do we got?
Back in the 90s, while I was going to law school, there was this country station in a small town, and this is back when all the radio stations started getting bought up by the big companies.
Yeah.
He was this was a morning guy, on it was one of these wave country stations, and so he was looking to try and get his numbers up because the new company came in was going to do the John Boy and Billy morning show and wipe him out of there.
Okay.
And so the local guy was trying to save his job. So I would get paid. It started out at $25 a week. He would send me this check in the mail. He was trying to catch up with the shows that had Larry the Cable Guy and Bubba Whoop-Ass Wilson. And so he wanted a guy to call in as Uncle Jesse to do like pop news and stuff like that. So he sent me $25.
He was a redneck character on a country station named Uncle Jesse in the 90s.
And he used the name of the actual Uncle Jesse from Dukes of Hazzard? How uncreative can you be?
He was struggling to try and get some popularity going.
Give us a little Uncle Jesse.
Yeah.
90s. Hi, everybody.
Hold on. Daniel,
Are you doing
Daniel will pretend to be the morning radio DJ.
Oh, it looks like somebody's calling. Hold on, let me check right here. I'm on the line with us right now to give us what's going on in sports and pop culture. It's Uncle Jesse. What's up, Jesse? How you doing?
Hey, Bub. Hey, Bub. It's your Uncle Jesse. How you been? They were related.
I like it. I like
Background
it.
story.
Oh, you're hired.
Yeah.
Listen up, Orange County. This is the guy that's deciding whether you're innocent or guilty.
Uncle Jesse's courtroom.
Oh, please do like
You have to do a 1 day in court, like
all right, what we got here?
Yeah. Could you talk like that if you wanted to? There's no law against it, right? You
Or
could.
you just
They
feel
never know, yeah.
you just feel stupid, right? And then the bailiff be like, "This guy's crazy."
Yeah.
Is anybody watching you do anything? Like, could you be Uncle Jesse for the day? Like, what if you started?
Nobody'd question it.
What if you zoned out? Like someone's telling this long story about that, and then you're like, "Oh!" You wake up, you're like, "Oh my god, I wasn't listening." And then you're like, "Because that happens with me and Butler all the time." He tells me some long story about his dog, and then I'm like, and then all of a sudden I wake up and I'm like, "Oh my god, I wasn't listening." I'm like, "Oh, cool," and then and he knows.
Yeah, he knows.
He asked the question at the end. I said, "Oh, cool."
Yeah, because he finishes every story with, "Can I go home now?" And you say, "Okay." You say, "Yeah, cool." And then he leaves.
So, do you ever just wake up out of a fog and someone's still talking? You're like, "Oh my god, I have no idea what they said."
I was reminiscing about being Uncle Jesse.
Do you ask? Is there like a?
I'll plead the fifth on that.
It happens to everyone.
Fifth of Jim Beam. That's what Uncle Jesse said.
All right, dude. Thank you for calling in.
Well, great job, man, and you're our big fat slob of the week.
All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right,
Thanks,
man. Thanks
Jeff.
for listening, brother. We'll talk to you soon. Wow, that was interesting.
funny.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
Great
yeah.
job, Sam, for setting that up. We'll take a quick break and come back with more. Hey, Corporate Time with Tom and Dan right after this.
Welcome back to a Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Would you like to jump into some voicemails?
Yes.
Let's do so. You can leave us a voicemail if you have one. Just get our free app. Totally free. All of our content's on there. You can even sign up to be a BDM member. TomandDan.com/registration will get you signed up. Let's, this has been probably the hottest topic on the show for the past 2 weeks. Here we go.
Yo, BDM Neil over here again. I don't know why I was looking at birds for some reason. I was listening to the Fight Companion, Joe Rogan, and they referenced birds, and he was messing like a Haast. This Haast eagle, which was like this giant eagle that lived in New Zealand that got hunted to extinction, or was like basically died off kind of when the people that moved there hunted their prey or whatever. But it was like a super predatory raptor eagle is what they said. And then I obviously got into a bird hole, loving Bird Wednesdays, by the way. And this other bird, I'm literally looking.
Are we doing a bird today?
We got birds.
Oh, we got birds?
Yeah, we got Bird for Bird Wednesday, of course.
Okay, just double check.
It's a called terror birds. They're scary as hell.
Terror
Looking
birds.
scary. And the other one that I saw was called elephant bird. Now the elephant birds.
Elephant bird.
You're giving us too many birds.
Yeah.
One bird a Wednesday.
Look up elephant bird. That sounds scary, right? Is it as big as an elephant?
No.
Or is it like one of those little birds that stands on an elephant and like cleans it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I want to be so fat that a bird can land on me and clean me.
Yeah.
Well, they're extinct, but they look like a giant emu.
Oh, really? How big are they?
Big thighs.
Oh, that's the Brock Lesnar bird. Big old fat thighs.
A D tattoo on your chest.
Is that a sword? I was looking. Can you make this a little more swordy and a little less D?
You got to make the tip pointy. The tip's
You
too round.
rounded the tip. Now it looks like a baby bottle. What are you doing?
You can't erase it.
Yeah, wait, what is this?
Should we just jump
Put some
in?
blood on it. Wait, don't put blood on it. Oh, God, you ruined it. Start over.
Should we just jump into Bird Wednesday?
We can. I forgot all
The
about it.
elephant bird is the largest bird that ever lived.
Really?
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, I forgot all about Bird Wednesday.
Me too.
Damn it.
Luckily, he reminded us, like EJ's bit. It took about 6 or 7 weeks of reminding before it fell into a routine. Okay, let's talk about the elephant bird. And if we're gonna just
This is insanity.
go into Bird Wednesday,
Well, everybody say,
You said it. It's Bird Wednesday with your host, Tom Van and Samantha.
oh, you're not even in this.
I don't want to be a part of this. It's terrible. It's the
It's
worst
bad.
bit we've ever done. This is all you guys.
Bird Wednesday brought to you by the Orange County Library System.
Gave you a little bit of echo over that. Make it, you gotta do a proper job.
Yeah, get your library card and go check out that beautiful center that they have.
Yeah, the Rosen Center is pretty amazing. We actually had a listener reach out to us and say, I almost...
Melrose.
Oh, Melrose. What did I say?
I said Rosen.
The Rosen Center? Jesus Christ, Daniel. I'm an idiot.
No, it's fine. The Melrose Center.
Melrose, Rosen,
Yeah.
Mel
Close
Fisher.
enough.
It's the Mel Fisher Center for Performing Arts.
Yeah.
The Mel Blanc Center you can go to and do animal voices. But we had a listener reach out, and he said, he's thinking about paying a bunch of money to a really, really well-respected podcast coach. I know exactly who this man is, and it would have been in upwards of $5,000. And he decided to say, no, I'm going to the Melrose, and I'm going to use all their equipment. And he took a picture from him in there, and it just did my heart good. I mean, he saved himself about, $5,000 in online
wow.
courses. He went there,
They'll
he's
teach
taking the
you to
classes.
record,
They'll teach you how to do
free
everything.
classes.
Yeah, absolutely free.
Free recording center. They got 2 separate recording, like soundproof booths that you could do your podcast in. 3, yeah. That Busdecker has recorded there multiple times. The photography,
Your band can record.
videography,
Yeah, whatever you want to do, they can do it. 3D printing, flight simulators, backhoe simulators, any kind of simulators.
You could take engineering classes free and then record bands for free in a professional multi-million-dollar space.
All you got to do is sign up, learn your way around. Obviously, they want to know that you're going to take it seriously, and away you go. So I thought it was really cool.
It is. That is cool.
I'll post the picture on our website so people can see our listeners taking advantage of that amazing equipment.
All right, so the elephant bird.
You want to go into the elephant bird for Bird Wednesday?
Yeah. Because I've never even heard of this.
Well, they're extinct. I think it was back in the dinosaur age. So they're the largest member of the family of the V. titan species.
All right.
And the largest bird that ever lived. Let's see.
Whoa!
Here's what it would look like. It'd be about
It says it can get up to 10 feet tall and weigh 1,000 pounds.
That's what it looks like standing next to Burt Kreischer with a spear.
That's a fat caveman, right?
Yeah.
You would think that a caveman would be like, I'm looking at this website, it's from worldatlas.com, and it's like elephant bird facts, the extinct animals of our world. And the caveman that they have is a doughy caveman, man. He's been grubbing. But
their eggs are the largest eggs laid by any animal.
How big are the eggs?
10.4 to 13.4 inches.
Whoa!
Also, they could weigh up to 22 pounds. That's a hell of an omelet.
Yeah,
the eggs.
It's
Yeah,
too
the
much.
eggs.
It's too much.
Like they every once in a while, like some celebrity chef will make an ostrich egg
I don't
omelet.
like
It's
that.
gross. It's too much.
I
too
barely
big.
like a chicken egg omelet because I don't know. I just think eggs are kind of gross.
There is a gross factor to them. You have to get beyond. You're like
they're
this,
floppy and kind of wet.
You're like, I know what eggs are for humans, and we all have eggs.
Yeah,
and
and
they
the
need
texture is like spongy. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Oh, they were still around when humans were hunting them. So I guess they said it was the group's demise likely resulted from a combination of climate and vegetation change, hunting pressure from humans, and habitat loss due to deforestation. Because they're from Madagascar.
Ah.
Yeah.
Now,
So-
can't we?
a lot of weird birds on
can't-
islands.
Can't we clone them?
No.
Can we get their
Maybe
DNA?
from the
and-
fossils?
It's not.
How about that thing that guy called in and said the homologous or whatever it is, where you inject a chicken egg with sperm and you put a Band-Aid over it and stick it in a skull cap in your closet in a dark place for
Yeah,
like 3 days, and then it forms into like a little
I think
thing, like a little thing.
There's all these internet videos about like why the Jurassic Park science won't work. Like, the whole science was like, oh, we're getting DNA from a mosquito because it was trapped in some tree sap and it preserved the DNA over, millions of years, and then we extracted it and we're able to clone dinosaurs. There's a lot of flaws to that, like as a good movie story, but like apparently like the DNA degrades over time and there's no way to like really repair it well enough to get a complete strand. There's lots of super specific DNA science that I don't know, but basically rendering you can get some little bit of DNA and then make one of these things impossible, basically. With the current day science, who knows in the future, maybe.
Why do they call it an elephant bird? Is it only because
it's as tall as an elephant?
Ah,
yes.
Okay.
So this is
Are
basically
elephants
emu.
related to,
Well,
pachyderms are they like, how old is that particular
I don't know where
species? That would have been attached to the woolly mammoth, I'm guessing, in some way?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This bird, though, is probably descended from a dinosaur, right? That's its path, because didn't most dinosaurs then evolve down into birds, the surviving ones, something like that, right?
I
or is that another Jurassic Park?
I think you're right.
That's Dinosaur Thursday, sir.
No. We're
so
not.
back to the
we're rolling
bird.
that out already.
So this thing was running around the ground like an emu.
Yeah, they're flightless.
And people were hunting
Heavy.
them. And then they were dying off because of change in the weather and stuff, there's probably, like you said, some it was on Madagascar, so
Right.
this bird probably evolved into this because it was stuck on an island.
This is kind of interesting. It says, in the 13th century, an Italian explorer, Marco Polo, traveled to the east, and he talked about hearing tales of giant birds during his travels. The name elephant bird is also known as Epeornis maximus, and was derived from Marco Polo's description of a giant bird that could grab an elephant by its claws. This description describes the ruck, though it does not describe the elephant bird as the bird that could fly. The ruck is a bird talked about in the Middle East of those existence of a myth. In Madagascar, the bird was named Vorompatra, which means the southern Madagascar. The birds were reportedly to be seen mostly in the less populated parts of the area.
Huh.
These would scare the living crap out of me.
Oh, yeah.
A giant bird? A 10-foot bird?
Yeah. That's insane.
It was an herbivore.
Yeah, it ate fruits.
If you look at
So it's scary, but really doesn't want to have
But I
anything.
bet it would attack you if you tried to come after
it don't
it or
want
its
you
eggs.
stealing its grapefruits.
That's they
or
get
some
you
apples or something.
with their feet. They got
talons.
super strong
Yeah.
legs, and they'll
Talon claws and massive
I
legs.
bet that thing will rip you right open.
Oh yeah,
It'll get you good.
It's like it'll kick slice you. Bad.
Yeah.
Have you ever stood next to an emu?
I have.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
that thing is.
They're related, but yeah, so it's like a double size, more than double.
I
than
fed
an emu.
one at the river ranch.
Yeah.
And it was a D-head.
I don't mess around with birds.
That thing was a D-head. Like it
You're like,
wanted,
whoa,
all it
what is
wanted.
this?
I mean, I could tell. I'm a new dad, but there's a certain power that a dad has, and I knew that thing wanted to peck my daughter's eyes out. I could look at it and tell.
It's again
It
too
was miserable in there.
too wide of a spectrum between that thing and a hummingbird.
I also fed a llama, and its teeth were flat.
What do you mean?
Like it's
flat out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like its
They
teeth
got
were
jacked up teeth.
straight out. I'm like, what am I at the Shark Lounge in Daytona Beach? Like, holy crap! I'll have another Bud Light, please.
Yeah. You're like, llama, what you doing here?
Good Lord.
Llama.
What? Llama llama ding dong.
Llama your teeth out.
He goes, llama, what did you do to your llama ding dong? And then he laughed at himself. Are you becoming a child? Did you hear that,
He gets
Butler?
loopy on Bird Wednesdays.
Some would say I have a childlike mentality to me, which further enforces the
Llama, what did you do with your llama ding dong? That's exactly what you did. Then you tried to cover it up, and you're like, they'll keep talking, and then we'll just keep moving. But you know I won't do that. You know I'll stop the damn show. I'll stop the show.
I know what you're talking about because I saw that llama and I'm like, oh,
It had flat teeth.
Your teeth are all over the place.
I was like, I don't even need to feed you. I just need to lay the kibble in your teeth because your teeth are like a candy ball.
yeah, like someone needs to smash those teeth out.
Jesus.
Yeah. How do you eat anything? If we didn't feed you, you couldn't eat.
Your teeth are chomping the food flat. They're both flat, and
You're just.
the points are pointing out straight.
If you pecked me, you'd slice my fingers open. But yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
There's some animals I look at them and I'm like, what if evolution was right? What if extinction is right?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. It shouldn't be a right or wrong. It should just be that's what happens. Like, people are super sad when animals get extinct, and it is sad when human beings caused it, or like something that we did, deforestation, like all,
Right.
when it's us. But sometimes it's just because there have been tons of animals that just naturally went extinct before human beings because they just evolved the wrong way, and maybe the climate changed a little bit, or this habitat that you lived in changed, and that's it.
Well, like for
You
instance,
die.
like pandas, right?
No
Like,
more.
Don't pandas don't they have like a low sex drive, so
Yeah.
they don't
Yeah,
reproduce?
yes.
So my point is, like, why are we trying to? I mean, they don't want to have sex.
They don't
And you
wanna
can't-
continue.
You can't force that.
Yeah,
And they're trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that's weird, right?
It's just us as humans don't.
We didn't cause that, though.
We want to. Well,
Did we?
That's
well,
true.
there's
Did
probably
we lower the panda bear's sex drive?
no, but I think
Maybe being in captivity, though?
I think there was too little of panda bears left for them. Like I
So
guess
they need a bunch.
they need a bunch, and they need to be more natural. Like in captivity, hard to get them to.
I think I have to cut that out.
Captivity, it's hard to.
If I were trapped in an elevator with two girls and both of them were uggos, and I knew I was going to die in there, I'd do whatever it takes to repopulate the earth.
well, you're not. They're now you're going to have.
Well, no,
9 months.
outside it's everybody's dead.
Apocalypse.
Yeah, it's apocalypse scenario, and I just happen to be in the elevator.
Pandas don't think about that. They have no.
Well, they're idiots, though.
Yeah. Most animals have no idea. I think all of them have no idea about their own mortality or.
I
why
do like
they're
that
there.
panda bears are like, oh God, I don't want to have sex. I'm so tired.
Yeah,
I just want to eat. I just want to eat all of these leaves.
Some things go extinct, and that's what happens.
You got to be okay with it.
Yeah. Well, like eventually, probably humans will.
Yeah, eventually we'll bail on Bird Wednesday. In fact, I'm seriously considering I feel like we need to put a bullet in it.
Yeah. Once we start getting in guests with birds.
Are you offering it up so
I don't think
our
we should do
listeners
that.
can bring their birds in?
Yeah. Like
Any bird goes?
Yeah. Like it has to be
all birds.
Yeah, it's
Big birds, little birds.
I'm gonna try to get my mother-in-law to bring in
Ginger.
Ginger.
Ginger's cool.
The cockatiel.
You'll like
or
Ginger.
two. I don't know what it is. It's white. I think it's a cockatoo.
Wait, that's not
I'm
the
not
one.
excited for
Bubba's the
this.
one that sings Mariah Carey. I got that wrong, didn't I?
Yeah. You can't bring Bubba in
No,
there.
Bubba's Bubba literally rip your nose ring out, kill you.
Bubba will get on the floor and then run after to chomp your feet. That's what happened.
No, would it?
If you
what do
stomp it,
yeah,
real
but
mad.
that's the thing.
Can
What
we
do
make
you?
this a no bird?
What are you
area?
supposed to do in that scenario? Because like
You run.
Oh, I'd kick him
no,
with a
like
football.
what if I just smushed it?
No, my mother-in-law will be sad, mad.
Yeah, but it was attacking me.
Right,
Well,
I'm defending
self-defense.
myself.
No, but here's the thing. All it's going to do is chomp your toes. Oh, it's going to
I don't want my toes chomped.
does the
Can I
bird
spray
deserve
it
to
with
die?
Can I shoot water in its eyes or something?
I mean,
What is it? How do you keep it away? How do you even?
It's out
what
for
kind
blood.
of joy do you get out of it?
I don't know. That's a whole different question.
It's out for blood.
Yeah. It just wants to destroy you. That's its only purpose in life.
It is to kill.
Oh my god!
Is to bite my son's fingers off and
Okay.
to kill.
Yeah,
and to get a fatty almond liver. I'm like, you have a fatty liver from eating almonds? I'm like, I could drink 8 White Claws a night and be fine.
Oh my!
That's
Christ.
better than a couple stinking almonds.
You would do another voicemail and
Yeah.
ease our way out of Bird Wednesday here.
Yeah.
All right, let's try. Let's try this one.
Hey there, guys. This is David. I was calling in just in reference to, I know Daniel for a long time talked about his desire to live under a bridge, to basically be a homeless man, to be a hobo.
I still do.
Now, I don't know if this is the same level, but it's something that I've sort of fallen into a want. Now, I am married, I've got a couple kids, and we've got a house and jobs and all that kind of stuff, but I've on YouTube, there are these videos of people that live out of vans, and they've like converted them with they have solar panels, and they have little diesel motors that they can run a heater and like run parts of their kitchen with, things like that. And they kit them all out, so there's little beds, and I'm really fascinated by it. And there's a part of me that just wants to tell my wife, sweetheart, we need to buy a van and turn it into an RV, basically, but only the van, not big. I know it's impossible, and I would never actually want to do it, but somewhere in my mind, I now understand Daniel's desire to live under a bridge and live on the outskirts of society. All right, love the show, guys. Take it easy. Bye.
There's a commercial of a lady that you probably all seen it, where she backs her, like, she looks like she's in her bedroom, and then she opens up the door and she gets out and she's like taking a breath in, that she's like parked at, like, I don't know, some national park. It looks like the Grand Canyon. And then obviously her parents drive up and toot the horn, and then they wreck her whole, like, moment that she's having.
Yeah.
But that initial part with the van and her getting out of it, I'd look at that and I go, that's awesome. Like, I would love that.
If you think about it, it makes perfect sense, because it must tie into something we all as humans have ingrained into us, because for hundreds of thousands of years, we were basically roaming the earth and living,
nomads,
living in small villages, and we eventually progressed to bigger cities, and obviously you go back and look at history, but for the majority of the time, though, we just roamed around and had like a minimalist lifestyle where we basically could only travel with the stuff on our back, and everywhere we went, like, we'd set up temporary huts and like structures and hunt and whatever, but we didn't have that many things, so it must tap into that, and that's why I think a lot of people, when they see that lifestyle, are like drawn to it, because it's like you're traveling, you're going around from place to place. You don't have that much stuff.
I think I talked to you guys about the documentary called Vannin.
Oh, again,
with the people that are obsessed with vans and they travel around. I think I'm into it.
It's awesome. There's the same deal, but with boats. And there's a YouTube. I got in a YouTube hole, and I was watching this family. It's like a guy and his wife, and they have this boat. It's like a sleep-aboard. There's a room and a kitchen and stuff in it, and they just go around like the St. John's River up there in our coastal, around like small waterways across the United States, and that's their life. They just go and travel. And they must have some sort of, either they monetize their YouTube channel, or they had some sort of money, because you need gas money and food and stuff like that. But because it's not free to live this way.
No,
you have to figure out a way, or you have to have a predetermined amount of money to be able to pay for your gas and food and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's probably not that expensive, but I'm like this guy. I look at that and I'm like, man, I wish I was in the position to do that.
Isn't that what Adam did? Adam the Woo?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've talked to a lot of people that.
But he would kind of pack up and plan it all out, and he'd have it just
travel.
Yeah, but he'd have it mapped out, and then he'd be making his money off of his YouTube channel and collecting money that way, and able to supplement his income and kind of driving all around.
There's more people that do it now because it's easier to have a job on the internet
and be remote
and monetize your social media or your YouTube channel or whatever the hell you're doing. Like document what you're doing, then monetize it in some fashion if people are watching. So I bet it is more prevalent now than it ever was because of the ability to work mobily.
Sure.
And I mean, people could have jobs where it's all on their computer. Like our buddy Joe, he could do his job as long as he had an internet connection and computer, he could do it from anywhere.
I have a bunch of friends that are kind of like that.
Yeah,
I have a bunch of friends that like I got to log in real fast, and they don't really have an office. Like they just do their work.
In that scenario, if your significant other was cool with it, why not just travel forever, and you're making money. And if you look at your expenses and gas, diesel fuel, less expensive, obviously. And you're staying in like campgrounds or free places on the side, I guess you could stay wherever in a van. You don't even need to rent a campground area, I guess, for showers and things, but that's got to be it, right? That's why we like it.
Most people I know get the Planet Fitness membership, and then they just use that shower.
Because have you ever heard anybody listen to this lifestyle or like, hey, travel around the entire country in a van and live that way? I've never heard someone be like, oh my God, that sounds the worst I could ever imagine.
I have, yeah.
Have you?
I could be completely wrong.
Most
on
people
this.
are like, oh, that sounds pretty cool.
I could be wrong on this. I don't think I am, and we might have to reach out to him and just kind of find out. But I believe our good friend Kay Rollins, I believe her son is doing that now.
All right, James?
And I think James has a van like decked out, and he's just traveling, learning, experiencing things, different cultures, different areas. And because I don't know. I think I may have heard that just from my wife, but I think they were really fun.
Yeah.
Like, I think it sounds amazing.
It does. Like, and I guess, some people are like,
It's exciting to me to think that you control, you're driving, you're controlling where you go. And
again, it's not all good. Like, there's the times where you probably wish you had a bathroom or a hot shower or
a big bed.
Get a hotel room for the night.
Yeah,
True.
if you have the money. But I guess if your budget, like, there's probably a good amount of downfalls, obviously, but the overall adventure of it and the traveling and the minimalist lifestyle does, because I constantly get stressed out and anxiety about like how much toys are around or garbage I have. Like, I hate it, and I know I'm not doing anything to change it, and I'm a hypocrite because I hate it, but obviously not changing it. But I don't like it, and I'd rather obviously this can't really happen, but if it was just me, my wife, and my sons, and I had the ability to like homeschool them and like travel around the world,
no, they'll be picked on. They'll be weirdos.
No, I know.
Also, who's doing the teaching?
I could just see them,
it all doesn't work. But
they're
in
dressed
the best,
like little Quaker boys, In
the best case scenario, now maybe not for but for the summer, like it would be cool if we just got into an RV and just the entire summer we just travel around the United States with my sons and they got to see
I want to do that.
That's cool, right?
That is cool.
And I think it has to be ingrained into
We did a little bit of that.
I think it depends on the person.
We did a little bit of that on the summer when I was a kid, where it was like Dad loaded it up, and I think we went DeLand to like Virginia. Or Carolinas or what would have been like Georgia, Carolinas, Virginia to Nashville to like Louisiana back. You did like a little circle of like the lower East Coast, and it felt like it felt like a really cool adventure. Like it did. I still remember it, you know.
But have you met anybody that just absolutely hates travel?
Yeah, some people are not into traveling.
That's weird because most likely
I don't think I know
there's
anybody.
homebodies. There's
I'm a
introverts.
homebody.
There's people that don't want to leave their house.
I don't, but I also like traveling, so maybe I'm weird.
But
I like both.
Yeah, and
some people it's out of their comfort zone to leave like their town.
It is, but that's unfortunate. And I think
I'm just saying those people exist.
It's true. Yeah. But society looks at those people like, man, you're going to die without leaving like 10 square miles from where you were born, like ever, like But
then you also have the thing where you always say like you don't have to go and do anything. You could always watch it on the internet now. Like you don't have to go.
That's true.
Do anything anymore.
Yeah, because
anything you want to do, you can see someone else do it,
and you can see a virtual tour of anything you want.
Well, that's part of the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
We make a lot of our own decisions just based on things we view, and we use that viewing as an experience. But it's not an experience; it's a viewing.
Yeah. It doesn't.
We read articles and we make up our mind. We didn't experience that. We're just reading it.
It's probably the equivalent to watching pornography and actually having sex. Like it's that much. Like one way you're like, okay, I'm getting an idea, but the real act is
which
so
is
much
bad
better.
because a lot of guys when they're younger think that that's how things are supposed to go down in the bedroom, and you're like, wait a minute,
you don't travel like that.
Yeah, we don't travel that way.
That's not the correct traveling.
But I don't know about you guys, but there's a certain like gratification you get from traveling anywhere. Like
I love traveling. I don't like the actual travel sometimes.
It's a pain in the ass.
Sometimes I like the plane.
Scary.
This sounds so crappy, but as much as I'm afraid of flying, sometimes I enjoy the plane flight, the pomp and circumstance, the what do you call that? Because I have anxiety, the craziness of it, more than when we get there and I'm like, well, this is boring.
Well, yeah, because that's what you're nervous about.
There's no spikes. The spikes are kind of, they give you that, you throw a little, a little adrenaline, a little bit of beer, and that's more fun. I get to the ski, I'm like,
wait until I convince you to go with me to the top of a double black diamond, and then rocket your way down. You'll feel alive.
I mean, it can't be any more dangerous than the Garden of Eden strip club in San Francisco, where we almost got murdered.
Tell that to Sonny Bono.
Let's do. He was there. Let's do one more and then take a break.
Hey, gang! It's Zach from Ohio. Here's a hypothetical for you. Let's say you're at home with the kids one night. Your wife was out with a friend. They were maybe at a restaurant or bar. And she shows up. She walks inside. She's crying. She says, I hit someone and I think I killed them. And she informs you that she had 2 drinks, but she thinks that someone drugged her. What is your response? What do you do?
Oh no!
What are you playing Clue here, Zach?
What'd you do? Would you go and immediately say that you were the one that drove the car?
Oh yeah, I'd take the fall.
You take the fall?
I
don't think I would.
I'm a master enabler and ride or die with anybody. To my own death. I'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
To certain people, you guys know them, Liz.
My son, my
wife.
I almost feel like you would do that with anybody. I almost feel like if somebody's banging on your door, you answer it, and it's a blood-soaked Chapman. That you're going to be like, "I'll help you. I'm ride or die." I feel like you'd be like,
if I can, I will. Now it depends. I need some well, who'd you hit? Like, I need some information. Like, was it? I
hit this huge elephant bird down the block.
This sounds bad. Like, did you hit like a businessman or a homeless person?
Yeah, that's true.
They have to weigh all of this.
You do have to weigh it. He was dressed in all black. He was carrying one book, and he had a white collar around his neck.
He was
a priest? Oh, no.
Can't do nothing.
What'd you hit? Well, he was dressed in rags. Oh, thank God he was dressed in rags.
It is horrible that society has this. Because even though I make jokes about it.
But then you got to ask, what did the rags look like? Were they dirty rags?
Like, when you were a kid, you were like, if you push this button, you get $1 million, but you kill one bum. Stupid thing. You're like, why does a bum's life matter less than anybody else's? It's horrible that society thinks
and
that.
And then I say, I'm not the one that connected the box to the bums. I don't know. It's the bum box. It's the $1 million bum box.
That was the only option.
Yeah. There's no other. I don't know. Talk to the person who hooked this thing up. I didn't create it. And then you have that problem where you're like, what did he look like? You're like, well, he's dressing like it looks sort of roby, almost like rags. Was he dirty? Yeah, he looked really dirty. You show up, you're like, what part of town? You're like, Thornton Park. You show up, and you're like, oh, no, it's near the theater. You're like, oh, God, and you get there, and it was like somebody dressed in costume. And you're like, you idiot. This isn't a bum.
Remember the lady that hit a person, and then the person was stuck in their windshield, and she drove home. They were still alive, and then they died later.
You're talking to them.
But the person was like, hey.
I drive you home.
And the guy's like, please. And you're like, no, I'm just going to ignore it.
Can you move your left leg just a little bit to the right? I can't see.
I got to roll the windows down. It stinks.
And then if you're in the window, you're like, oh, dude, it hurts so bad. Turn on Ozzy's Boneyard on Sirius XM Radio. I got to at least hear some sweet jams before I die.
and then you tell your husband,
you're like, Alexa, put on Ozzy's Boneyard from Sirius XM Radio. Oh, let's go, sweet metal.
Then you go into your garage. You're like, he's still there. No, this is way worse.
His legs are moving. Well, pull him out. Don't pull him out. I just wanted to hear the end of the song.
All right. Well, he did a lot of bad today.
Yeah, that's not it. We got to take a break.
This should get us kicked off the air. I'm fairly confident.
We'll take a break.
If there's anybody listening, try to get us kicked off.
Yeah. We'll come back and finish out the show. You're listening to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan.
Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan.
One of my favorite segments of the month.
I love it.
Jackie and Deborah are here from Fairvilla Megastore. And congratulations on the F Awards.
Thank you.
It was super fun. Thanks for letting us be a part of that, y'all.
Oh gosh, it was a blast.
It was super duper fun, and we went out there, and cocktails were consumed, and awards were given away, and dog bones were thrown out, and it was fun, man.
I swear, every time I go to Fairvilla Megastore on OBT, I walk into a new room that I've never seen. And this night, I walked into the video rental room. For whatever reason, I've never gone in before. And
because it's huge, that's why.
And then I watched Butler eat a chicken salad sandwich staring at the Gulf of Mexico.
I know. I remember the section we were standing next to.
And, just staring right at it.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in there.
Eating a sandwich. And I'm like, what are you looking at? He's like, oh, nothing. I saw you staring at it.
He's like, there's chicken salads. Gape. I mean, great. It was fun. We had a hell of a good time, and thank you guys again for letting us be a part of that. The amount of work and effort that you guys and your staff put into moving that store around, like it's got to be difficult.
Oh,
the
yeah.
amount of merch that you guys have to move and groove in that place is insane. So thanks for all that you do. And guys, stay tuned because I'm going to assume after it being as successful as it was that you guys are going to probably want to roll this
February
out again.
4th next year, I believe, is the date.
Yeah,
we
we're
picked.
already setting the date.
Yeah,
we love
we've
it.
already
It was so great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
My favorite thing. I love award shows.
Yeah, it was really well done. So what are we talking about today?
A holiday on March 14th. Steak and a BJ Day.
Oh, it's Steak and BJ Day. That's right.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
So we bought a bunch of accoutrements for that.
Okay, cool. Let's go over.
We'll start from
there,
this
yeah.
end, which we have a lot of flavored enhancers because for some people they like to kind of put a little something extra into
a little sauce.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to put butter on your potato.
I like that analogy. Perfect. So we brought a few flavored lubes.
I don't think we've brought any of these flavors.
These
to
are
you before.
different flavors. We have System Joe's Candy Shop bubble gum, which I thought was pretty awesome. If you guys want to taste it, we can open that one up for you.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin any products here, but I am a bit of a lube taster myself,
and I like a traditional pink Bazooka Joe flavor. Like the
He's
old,
always said that.
The old school bubble gum, like 50s.
Hey, hard as a rock.
yeah. And it's just the bubble gum flavor.
Okay.
I think most people are very familiar with the watermelon, the strawberry, and those very traditional flavors. Those sell the best, but you should look around the store a little more because we have all these really cool things that are a little outside the box.
Oh, you're in luck. This is as Bazooka Joe as it can get, brother. I'm about to go in on this. That's like... Oh, is that lube or is that just candy? That's really good. That's great.
When I taste my lube, I like to rub it all over my index finger and then jab it in and out of my mouth fast.
That's how you get a true representation.
It's very aggressive. It's very aggressive.
Yeah, but that's the only way to taste the lube.
Get all those taste buds.
Yeah, it's almost like he's cleaning a doorknob.
So, this
that's good.
Tons
not
of
bad.
different flavors, I imagine.
And then there was a couple other unique ones that you might not be aware of. It's oven baked apple pie. This one is by wet flavors.
As opposed to microwaved apple pie. Not good.
Why insert the how it was cooked? I'll put them. I'll do the apple pie.
This
math.
one right here this is air fried green beans.
Is it different?
No, it is.
Okay.
It's got a hint of hot
what's interesting, that one you have is just a basic water-based flavor. This is also water-based, but it's a warming. So you get a little more sensation and flavor.
That's why they put oven baked on there, Tom.
Oh, the warming.
Yes. Now we're talking.
Yeah. The only problem is don't forget that you're using that has the warming sensation because you will be freaked out in the middle that something's going wrong if you forget what you use. You're like, oh, what the? No! It's kind of like if you have too much red wine and then the first morning constitution, you're like, I'm dying. Oh, the wine. Or the beets I ate.
Or Pepto-Bismol.
Or red velvet cake.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, so remember...
This is oven-baked apple pie a la mode.
No.
Yes. Yeah, a little something extra.
Little ice cream.
It's very Willy Wonka.
Should I try this one or is it going to heat my hand up?
I know what the mode is.
It's go time. Okay.
So
I'm going to rub it on my hand
there you
and heat my palm up there.
Some of the flavors you blow on them and they'll actually warm up a little more on your
Dude,
skin.
this gets hot fast. Yeah. Dude, do it.
Melting.
You got to do that. That is hot.
All right, let me see that. All right, I'm putting on.
How does that work?
Well, what's crazy is that we get requests for products with increased warming ability.
Dude, it's hot when I put it in my mouth.
Yeah.
That is.
How does that work?
That is.
It's like
burning hot.
it's magic.
Yeah.
It's magic.
Now blow on it.
Oh yeah.
Now lick it. It'll be hot. It'll be hot.
Oh yeah, it's like temperature hot.
Yeah, it's temperature. How does that work?
I don't know. My tongue's on fire.
That's amazing.
I think Tom's going to put this on his pinwheels now. Instead of the tubes.
Gonna drizzle my pinwheels with some warming lube.
I can eat 15 fast.
And just
I
so
don't
you know,
understand that technology. I want to know how that works.
You know, it's ingredients. It's all in ingredients.
That's pretty crazy, and it tastes really
Let
good.
me tell you, the chemists that work at these different lubricant companies, they're serious. Like
Yeah.
it takes years sometimes to develop these formulations.
You've been
So-
slaving away trying to cure
Yeah.
some sort of disease, and you're getting nowhere. And you're nobody's hero, right? Because they're like, you're not doing it, you're not doing good enough. But then you make some of these, and you're like a hero.
And by the way, Deere, Sherman, and all the companies that add aloe and the cooling sensation, I want a heat sensation. That's better than cooling. I'm like, I don't want to be that part of my body have some minty coolness.
No.
I want it hot.
Yeah, like I don't like the
Burning hot.
what is it? The Gold Bond. I mean, that can hurt.
Yeah.
I got the spray. Powder,
Too
there's
cool.
Shaquille O'Neal, and he does the shimmy shoulders. And I bought that. I sprayed it on my butt, and when I got into bed, I was like,
yeah.
It's
cool.
terrible, but that's amazing. All right, what is
And
this
then
one?
I did bring you some baked gooey chocolate chip cookie as
Oh,
well.
come
And it's
on
also made by Wet. And that one is
Butler.
warming, but we have other flavors that aren't warming, so tons of flavors out there.
I think Butler's going to like this one because it's chocolate chip cookies, right?
Chug the whole bottle.
I'm failing.
Chug. Butler, how much to chug the whole bottle of warming lube?
I think he's blowing out some chocolate chips in the bathroom.
Why does he wait till guests get here?
I don't know.
He's always like, the guests are here. Time to go unload.
Maybe because he knows that we're going to be in here for a segment. And so he buys
They're
himself
in
20
there.
minutes.
Yeah.
They'll leave me alone.
It's like when you guys walk
Wait a
the
minute,
public.
you guys
that's what I do.
you guys aren't missing like a Tinga egg or anything, are you? Because
No.
We almost brought one we did not
all
today.
right, I'm warming this up. How does that get hot, dude?
Yeah.
I don't understand how it works.
I know.
All right.
Okay, that tastes exactly like. Like when you're eating a fresh chocolate chip cookie and you know how the chocolate inside of it is melty and it kind of pulls apart? It's like that. It's exactly what it tastes like. That's crazy.
It is amazing. So
It's magic.
But there's also some more traditional products that maybe over the years you've heard about. And Doc Johnson makes this whole series of products.
God, I love the name Doc Johnson. I wish that was my
right?
radio name.
Uh-oh.
And I think I can say that, right?
There's a throat involved, and then
it's good. And then there's
D-throat to go. That seems sound
Well, you
worse.
could say like good soul.
I'll make up for it now, D-throat to go.
You know what? That,
D-throat to go.
that
so
made it
these
worse.
are Oral Delight sprays and gels. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so they're also flavor, but just different consistencies. This is it looks like a little
Breath
just a little
freshener or something.
breath spray.
My dad used to carry one of these in his pocket, but it wasn't this. It was Banaka.
Right, it looks like a banaka.
Yeah.
I thought that hole in the middle.
That's what I thought, too.
I thought it was that was like a cigar cutter hole. I was like, what
I
is
thought it was a prop-up stick. I thought you went
kickstand.
Yeah, I thought it was like,
Daniel's dad's joke.
Yeah, like American Sniper to steady the. Trying to steady the gun there.
But it's just mint flavor, kind of
Numbing.
numbing.
I could say their
effect.
tagline,
Yeah.
which is "Relax your gag reflex."
Oh.
That's D-throat to go. Mild numbing agent. Can't say that. Easy to use spray application. Pocket size. Freshens your breath.
There you go.
So once you spray this in there, you could go crazy.
Wait, do I do this? Oh, wait. Does she do this or do I do this?
Well,
if I'm going out on the town, is it the last thing I do before I?
If you want to walk around town with a numb throat, I guess.
That's the only way
I was gonna pre-numb
No.
For the,
It's for the back of the throat.
Okay, see, I would have done this horribly wrong.
now we could get you some product to kind of spray or to rub in.
Yeah,
for
I
you
want
to
some.
make you go a little bit
I
longer.
want Like I wanted, like you're about to go out. You're like, well, let me mint this thing
Well,
up.
that's when you get or the pheromones. That's what the pheromones are for.
All right,
there you go. And then just from the same line from Doc Johnson, they have a gel, and it's just kind of a good flavored gel.
Yeah,
to
this
use for the same
this is
purpose.
mouth-watering watermelon.
Yum.
Better flavor for better. Can't say that. And they got mystical mint, mouth-watering watermelon, sexy cinnamon, wild cherry, sweet strawberry juice, juicy passion fruit, and green apple.
And you know, we can make a little kit out of it. They also make a little helper, a little stroker, as we can.
Yeah, so you don't have to have the pressure to go.
Stroker race, Kenny Rogers. He was a race car driver in that movie.
There you go. But it's from the same line. You could make a little gift basket, as it were, for that special day, and that way everybody's happy.
This is like a hey, how do I say that? This is like, hey, I'm tired. Try this for a few seconds.
Right.
Or use it in addition. You can use it at the same time, so you don't have the pressure to go all the way.
Like that lady, and our listeners, if you listen to the Friday Free Show, you're familiar. Like the lady that does grapefruiting.
Oh,
yeah. It's similar to grapefruiting.
Similar to grapefruiting. So,
but like,
look at this thing.
Yeah.
All right.
He checked the inside. Like he's looking at a boat engine. Can you take the cover off? Take the cover off. I want to look
It
in
has
it.
a lot of texture, so it's just some different sensation.
Butler's back if you want to have him try
Butler,
the chocolate chip.
try this chocolate chip cookie lube. It's delicious. It's the tall one. It's ooey gooey chocolate chip cookie lube. Tell me that doesn't taste exactly like, and it'll heat up. Put it on your hand and then rub it in the palm of your hand. It'll heat up. It tastes just like when the chocolate chips melt inside a cookie. It's really good.
All right, cookie connoisseur, take
Yeah.
a sniff. He's
Now
rubbing
blow
it.
on it. See, it gets hot.
What is the
right?
Oh,
Yeah, he's in
yes, eyebrows went up.
It's good, right? Yeah, it tastes good. Yeah, it tastes like a cookie.
He's going back. He's going back into the bathroom with that palm.
and away he goes.
What is the strap with the metal device?
Don't talk
I've been
about
looking at that for a while.
I think you put
It looks like a bow tie almost, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think you put that around your microphone.
Here, I'll hand it to you.
Okay.
It's called a spider gag.
I put it like that.
Oh, around your.
Is that what I do?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
and does it keep my mouth open? Is
Yes.
Okay. Your teeth go on the outside, or does that?
I don't think your teeth do. That would make my tummy nervous.
Okay. Yeah. But you open. Okay, I see. That
like that.
That's more advanced. I feel.
Yeah. That was one of the advanced level.
Yeah, like this one is to.
Is this a popular item or more?
It's more of a fetish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a niche kink item.
Gotcha.
Butler, put that on and
Gotta
go
do
to
the silicone around it though. That's gonna hurt.
Yeah. I feel like
There are products that are more silicone.
Yeah,
based,
yes.
so
Yeah.
So you had
that's amazing.
are those Pop Rocks? What is that?
Yes.
Basically, we're all kids at heart. So yeah, these happen to be called BJ Blasts. But yeah,
Who's a very popular DJ?
Yeah.
BJ Blast.
What's up? What's up? It's me, BJ Blast, on Real Radio 104.1.
It's basically candy for your dandy.
Yeah.
I
see it.
Candy for your dandy.
with that
And,
pop rock effect.
Yeah, this is cool, but it's like, bolder flavors, I'm guessing, and a lot more than you would traditionally get in a Pop Rocks package. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah, if one day I'm saying, hold on, let me get the Pop Rocks, something's happening.
What do you mean to us?
No.
Or to your wife?
Something's different.
More candy
anything.
lying around the house.
Yeah.
He isn't saying anything.
No, I know, but you know.
No, I don't.
You know.
Well, if anybody knows, you would know.
If he says, "Bring me the Pop Rocks," I'm out of here.
Well, not to you. He's going to say it to Butler, and Butler's like, again.
Something's happening. All right, what else we got here?
This is
Okay.
awesome. You
Yeah,
guys got
let's do
so
that.
much stuff. And this
It's
is
an
not
important
even,
holiday.
And this isn't even all of it. This is like what? Like 1/10?
Yeah. And
Yeah, we had
want-
to be picky.
Yeah, but we wanted to bring things that kind of celebrated things also for the penis owner's pleasure. Yeah, that doesn't always happen.
Thomas, is your favorite thing.
What's that?
This is your. This is the. It's like it almost looks like a vibrating tongue ring.
No.
It's called the Tongue Star. You're a big fan of these.
Yeah. I've seen these at strip clubs.
Yeah. When they do the technique called "through the jeans," which is not a Kanye West song.
Oh, but this is
Yet.
this is not really a tongue ring because you don't have to have. You could put this on
Your bottom teeth.
your bottom teeth, and it vibrates your tongue from the bottom.
Yeah. It's like the same.
from the bottom
it's like
to
the
here.
same mouth guard that Troy Aikman wears.
Yeah. I want. Can this? My wife grinds her teeth at night.
This is perfect.
And the dentist issued ones, or they're expensive.
Yeah.
They're like
You don't want to
$100.
those. Get yourself a tongue star. Save yourself $870.
I could just boil this. Yeah, I'm like, bite down to get your teeth improved.
I don't even think you got to boil this one. I mean, I think it's one size fits all right out of the packet.
Yeah. And then you don't have to turn on the vibrating feature. It'll be hard to sleep, but
once she's asleep,
it could be soothing.
yeah. So this is interesting.
Stays comfortable and placed directly on the teeth. Intense stimulation motor. Liquid lube pillow pack included for extra delicious play.
Yeah,
there you go.
2 different flavors.
Yeah, this one is Sex on the Beach. What's your flavor?
Mine. What does it say? Bailey's and cream.
Bailey. Oh, nice.
Bailey's.
So if you get to the point where you're putting this vibrating apparatus under your tongue
pillow
because the regular has gotten boring, you're a lucky person. That's all. I'm just saying that it's like if you buy the fastest car in the world because every other car is too slow, it means that you've tried it. You've done it all.
Now, what is this? This is called the Serinda?
Yes. And it is a rechargeable mouth vibe.
Oh yeah, it's like it goes on the cheek.
Your cheek, yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is the same deal, just a different
concept, different execution.
Right. Yeah. Instead of tooth and then under the tongue, this one is basically the fish hook side of the mouth. They call this the Billy Bass.
This is very similar to the product that me and Butler were getting. One of the classes when you guys are giving the giveaways at the passport at the F Awards. Yeah. There was it wasn't that exact.
Vibe.
It might have been that.
It was probably the Wii Vibe, I'm thinking.
Yeah. We were getting a demonstration.
I'm not joking. If you just gave this to me without the instructions in the box, I don't no idea what this was.
I have a feeling you'd be like, my teeth are going to be white.
I'm just saying, this is
or free tooth whitening system.
Or a nose clamp.
It's going to end up in the B. I'm just saying.
Oh my god!
Because I don't understand.
I mean, I guess you could.
When in doubt,
I think
go down south.
We may only have time for one more.
Yeah, one more product.
No worries.
What do we got? I see.
This is for like if you don't have a partner to do it for you.
This could happen. And so again, our friends at Doc Johnson have a super sucker.
Okay.
This is like one of those fish you put in your fish tank. The sucker fish.
Yeah, this is for when the regular technique, you get bored of it after a while and you want to try something, extra special. This is a product that's probably less expensive than like the Auto Bee. And
wow, this one's handmade.
Yeah, and with the
handcrafted,
with the silicone
I don't know what that means.
And the material they use nowadays, it's ridiculously good, right?
Yeah.
You put that in some of this cookie cream liquid. Oh man!
No matter
that's better. Than,
just leave me alone. A 6-pack of beer. Give me one of these and give me some of that ooey gooey chocolate chip cookie.
I don't need the lady yelling at me all the time. I just need that and the chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah, because after now follow me with this, because after a while the negative and hateful words that come out of that mouth make me not want to be around it anymore. Especially with my important parts.
Yeah. And then there's 2 actual products that are similar.
Yeah, absolutely. These are just additional different products. Tenga, the people that make the egg, also have something called the spinner.
Whoa, my God, Jackie, that almost got you.
Uh-oh.
And actually, when you use that...
Can I pull him out of here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a
man.
thing.
This thing.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you right now.
Wow,
this is got so much technology in it.
Yeah, it's similar to a flashlight.
It's like a little bit of an upgraded Tenga egg.
Yeah, this is like a
very
Tenga
upgraded.
Egg. Imagine the Tenga egg, but this one inside of it has actually some harder plastic ribbing inside of it to give it shape.
It gives it a spiral motion when you're
spinny
using
feel,
it.
yeah.
Oh.
So you kind of get a twisting feel.
You know, every morning when
that's like the Miller Lite Vortex.
When I get here, and I take my keys and my wallet and my glasses, I put them on my desk. What if that was one of them? I did the other.
It's very popular in men's blogs to photograph what's in your pockets. It's like Louis Vuitton wallet, BMW key, pocket knife, Tenga egg, used. I want to see all this stuff. I want to see all that stuff set
awesome.
out.
That's
well, guys, thanks as always for coming in. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to hit all the products, but
we did good.
Steak and fun with the mouth days coming up. up very soon. So, and that is
March 14th.
March 14th. It is an actual holiday. You can look it up. It's actually in England. They actually have given it a different name, and I can't remember what it is, but it's like, and I think in some countries it's even on a different day. That's how, like, because I looked it up one day to see, is this real? It's real.
And we're actually
real.
having a class for that holiday at our Cape Canaveral store on March 14th.
Oh, sweet.
That'll help you with tips and tricks on how to make it a good holiday.
Yeah, and you can pick up some of these products, I'm sure, there while you're at the store.
Absolutely.
In England, it's like bangers and mouth.
He's very,
something like that.
No, seriously, he's very close.
Just call it the same thing.
Yeah. It's
We
very,
won.
It's very close to that.
All right, and there's multiple Fairville locations, of course, the OBT location, the Cape Canaveral. We got iDrive, Key West, Secret Hideaway.
Yeah, Secret Hideaway.
Yep.
But go to the mega store because I got everything, especially if you're looking for some of those products that are hard to find. Guys, thanks so much for listening. Anything else?
Thank you.
That's it.
Yeah, we will see you tomorrow.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. Our producer Samantha's here. I'm just laughing at something that Stephanie Shea said in the Twitch chat room. She said, she has the perfect nose.
No.
Yes, our next guest is known for her perfect nose.
Yes, it's Bailey Callahan. She's here again.
Yeah.
She's got a brand new single coming out. Renee's here, who I like to refer to as Miami Joe.
Because he looks like, he does look like everyone. Every one of your friends from Miami looks like Renee.
Yeah. And then I tell Miami Joe that I'm like, hey, when Bailey hits it big, like Taylor Swift big, take me with you. I'm tired of this podcasting.
You know,
I'm from Miami, me and you can work together.
You know what's weird is that
I know the text.
Your voice got oddly creepy and grumbly. I'm like, is it? Whoa!
That's my Miami voice.
Yeah, that's how you know when he's actually being genuine. Is when he goes into like his villain. The funny thing is, as many of the Spanish friends that you have, as many of the people that you know of Miami, you don't know a lick of Spanish. Had a Spanish nanny for like 4 years.
It's true, but I have to talk because all my Miami friends, my Hispanic Miami friends, because everybody is like stereotypes or whatever, so they want me to talk like a sleazy rich white businessman. That's what, and then that's what I go into my stereotype.
It's only fair.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to want them to stereotype, then you have to stereotype.
Every white guy is a sleazy politician, so I have to talk like that.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Well, hey, Bailey, how's it been?
Good.
You look more beautiful, younger, and taller.
Oh, thank you. I'm about to turn 20. I feel like I'm going on 30 right now. So
I mean,
well, you're working your ass off, man.
I have been. It's been nonstop.
Now, for a 20-year-old, you've had a lot of traveling experience, work experience. I mean, basically, at this point, you are familiar with the industry, the music industry, and so you've done more.
You're not really new.
I know it's weird. This is my 9th year. I've been doing music for half of my life.
Yeah,
that's weird.
And primarily like country music, right?
Yeah, I mean, really
like
all
pop,
of it, like cover band, whatever. I had my first real gig when I was 11.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it's weird, but I always feel like I'm so happy to be back. Like, I feel like this is going to be like our little reunion every year when the new single comes out, like the big one. We always get together, so I'm happy to see you guys.
Yeah, we're happy to see you.
Happy to see you too.
And so going back,
you want to hear something really sweet?
What?
You signed our sink last time we were in here, and the cleaning people, Her Majesty Services, are so sweet that they'll clean it, and they want to be. I mean, obviously, we live in a time when pandemics and things can break out at any moment. Everybody should be washing their hands, now more than ever, and they will go through with a marker and rewrite your signature.
That's so cute.
Isn't that cute?
Oh my gosh.
Her Majesty, you do not have to. That's a go above and beyond.
They go above and beyond.
They do. They do it for you. They do it for Guy Torry, and they do it for what's his name?
Which one?
Oh God, Tony.
Tony Rock.
Tony Rock. They do it for Chris Rock's brother, and you're in the so it's Guy Torry, Tony Rock, and Bailey Callahan.
Wow, only us on the toilet.
Well, you're on the sink actually. You would never.
Sink.
Men toilet only.
I was like, I knew I signed somewhere outrageous. I didn't remember.
So Bailey, speaking of, you've been playing music for 11 years, but and I asked you before the show started if you saw the Taylor Swift documentary,
really good.
Because it kind of shows, at least with her, the behind the scenes and what the actual gig is about. Because most people, they see her on stage, they hear her music, and that's it. That's but the whole grind of it all. I mean, you just flew in from Nashville this morning, correct?
Yeah.
And so how long have you been doing the music grind? Because it's been years now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and it is a grind. And kind of explain what that even is.
Well, it's crazy because I've always thought that I've been busy, but I've never been this busy in my entire life. Like, I will literally hop on a flight every single Thursday or every single Friday at 5 a.m. and like go to wherever I'm playing. Last weekend I was in Arkansas, so I drove 6 hours. That night had a show, the next day had a show, then drove back, and then like hopped on another flight.
Yep.
Even like April I'm gone. I'll be in let's say I'll be in LA the first week, then the second week we're in Arkansas, then we're doing something in Ohio, then we fly to Napa. So it's like constantly back to back, like, and then gigging and, doing, radio promo or whatever that may be. So a lot of that stuff people don't see.
The hotels, the travel, the airplane.
Is it
traveling
hard?
on airplanes
Or just eating, or trying to eat something that's something substantial, like just getting calories? Because if you're up on stage, you're singing, you're performing, you're putting in time, you're traveling. I mean, it's got to be tough to just get a good meal, right?
It's not necessarily like a good meal. It's more like trying to eat healthy.
Right.
Because then there's like a lot of Chick-fil-A's or like, airports like Starbucks, whatever, and they don't really have like what you need. But I find as long as I bring like a pair of running shoes, I can like hit the gym. I do like the treadmill or whatever. So that's my big thing is I love to run. So like as long as there's a treadmill, like I feel like I can equally balance it out.
Here's a fun fact: for every one step she takes, I have to take 9.
Oh yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah, because how tall she is.
Oh man! So if you heard her running, it sounds like a normal person running. When you hear me running, it's that.
So that grind too, and like going back to the Taylor Swift documentary, it seemed to me, and I saw a lot of like just from talking to you a bunch of times and interviewing you, it seems like you and Taylor Swift have this internal grind, this internal ambition to do this that is beyond, because I think the general public looks at famous people and the successful people, Taylor Swift's and you and people in the music industry trying to work to get there, and they think that their motivation is money and the fame and the millions that come along with it. Right. That is the rare part, though. Like, I mean, how many Taylor Swifts are there? How many successful musicians are there at that level? Very rare. Yeah. So a lot of it, I think, is just this the love of music, the art of it, the passion to be successful.
I think that's the word. I think that's kind of the theme of this month for you and I. We've been using the word passion a lot, even with ourselves and what we do here. And it's internal, right? She's got to have that, because there's no way anybody would do this without passion, because it's so hard and it takes so much time and so much effort. And if you didn't have the passion, you'd give up, because it would break most people just from the travel schedule and the work schedule. Let me ask you something real quick. You are fascinated with younger people like Bailey who have this grind and the passion. There was a soccer player that played for Orlando City. He's since been traded, but when he came to us, I want to say he was like 16.
I do remember
and he would literally train, and he made the U.S. the under 16 team, which is like such a big honor. He's like playing for our country, like such a huge honor. And he was like you. He was one of those guys that just like head down doing it. It was like it's in the blood almost.
So were you born with that? I mean, it's hard to ask someone that
Lady Gaga.
But it seems like a genetic trait that people are born with, just to have an insane amount of drive and passion to reach their goals beyond.
Tyler Turner.
Tyler Turner.
That's who it was.
Okay. I think that there's like several different perspectives on that, and so I can like touch more into that in like a minute. But I would say I was born with it technically, because like it's just truly like my love. Like I wouldn't want my life any other way. And then also too, like my mom told me the other day that like when I turn 21, I'm off their insurance, and that like really scared me. So I'm like, oh my God, like this has to be my life now. Like there's no going back. But I think too, like even touching on like the money topic or whatever, like that stuff, that stuff comes and goes, whether it's House of Blues or whatever. Like, you at the end of the day, like you still have to do like the restaurant shows to like make a living or whatnot, because the bigger you get, whether it's opening for Air Church or like how we talked about House of Blues, like they pay you an exposure. So it's like kind of weird in that sense. But like fortunately, I just got a house, so that's kind of cool.
Congratulations.
Oh, no, that's not cool at all.
And
That's super
and
cool.
so like
man.
right now it's kind of cool, like because all my friends are in college, like trying to do whatever and like have like their retail jobs, and you know that I do that, like I have done that in the past, but like
Well, you've
now
been
I'm just
working for
fully-
11 years straight. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
but now I'm like-
I had one job when I got
accomplishment.
into college, a substantial subs, and
Yeah.
then I didn't even have car insurance.
No,
in
but
college.
what an amazing accomplishment to have your eyes kind of set on that. Was buying a house or purchasing
Yeah.
property something you always wanted to do? Or is that just the next progression of, like, at least it's almost like you're injecting a little bit of stability into something that your schedule is
Yeah.
all over the place, but you have a home.
I really just want to be like a good businesswoman. So like I know Nashville is really, continuously growing.
Sure.
And so I think it'd be good to like invest in stuff like that. And so, that was one thing. But then even talking about like the drive and whatnot, I think I'm sure you guys can attest to this. Like, I think you have to have that one thing at the end of the day that like brings you back to like why you love what you do so much, because, running your own company really can be like.
Do you
very
see the
businessy.
emptiness in our eyes? When you said that, Tom and I both were like, what is that thing for us? And we were running the numbers
Yeah,
in our
like,
brains, and I got nothing.
This is the equivalent to a factory position at this point.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
just stamping license
You're right.
plates.
Yeah.
We come in here, we clock in, we stamp the license plate, we're dead
Yeah.
inside.
there's no going back.
We lost the passion years ago, Bailey.
Remember, it was like It was Wile E. Coyote, and then that sheepdog, and they would clock in.
Yeah.
Like, see you, Ralph. See you, Stan.
Yeah.
Remember,
Yeah,
I was Daniel's intern when I started this radio business.
yeah.
I was bright-eyed TC.
He
I was
still
like,
is.
I was like, yes, I want to do this. I want to do it. And then just grinded me down to the point I hate everything.
I mean, we've been whittled down like George Washington's wooden teeth.
Yeah. I not only hate what I do, I hate our listeners.
Yeah.
I can't say it. When they come up to me, they're like, we love what you do. I'm like, yo, I hate you.
Yeah. You know the number one
And
thing
all these people on Twitch, I can't say
Our
it.
listeners, the
Especially
number one
Norm.
thing I say to them when they come out, they go, hey, man, I had a guy yesterday. He goes, hey, Daniel? I go, yeah. He goes, man, I love the show. I go, gross. I go, you are.
I say,
you're
why?
Disgusting.
Have you ever heard me talk? I'm an idiot.
You can't
Wait
even.
till you meet him in person, y'all. No, I'm
He
kidding.
can't even say that he's an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot.
It's like the one thing from The Grinch where he does the echo and he's like, I'm an idiot.
I can do that.
You're an idiot.
So anyway, back
Now
to
that
you,
we've
Bailey.
embarrassed ourselves in front of Bailey and Renee.
So let's talk about the House of Blues show. That's March 14th.
13th.
13th, sorry. March 13th, House of Blues. And your single's getting released today. If
Yeah.
you're listening to the podcast or the radio.
Congratulations.
And tell us about the new single.
So I'm so excited for it. It's called Roll.
Okay.
And so for a long time, last time I was in here, it was my previous single release for Homemade. And so for a really long time, I think you even touched on it back then. I'd always been viewed as like, no matter what age I was like the 13-year-old that had come to town. And no matter what, like after proving myself, like turning 18, like moving, like I still like could never get out of that funk. And so I think like it took a little bit of growing up and like maturing and whatever, that like I really wanted to adapt to being more like badass, I guess you could say. Like I didn't want to be viewed like I love Taylor Swift, but I wanted to be my own person, and I think that for me is more like the girl version of Air Church.
Okay.
So like kind of like rock and roll, like country,
Yeah.
like I would classify it as like alternative, like blues country, maybe.
Okay.
And so, but like my upbringings were like the Dixie Chicks and Taylor Swift, so that's a little bit of a difference between the two. So I really wanted to like own in on my craft and like the writing and like the production as far as like musically trying to like get that sound. And so when Homemade came out, that was kind of the first like beginning steps of me like achieving that. And so it's been a year, and I wrote a song in December, and like as we were writing it, I was like, this is it, like this is the next single.
You could
So,
feel it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And are you going to play it today?
Yeah, if you guys want me
She's
to.
you're moving away from that Taylor Swifty kind of thing. Great job on bringing that up for the first half of the interview.
I wasn't comparing.
No, I think it's so cool though. Like that was really eye opening.
Well, and this leads me to my next question, because if you start your art, your music when you are a child, which you did, you grow and your music grows with you. But I think though people that are listening to people's music when they're a child and then they make that transition into adulthood, a lot of times it's hard for artists to make that transition. Like Miley Cyrus did it in an extreme way.
Yeah,
I think maybe she felt like she had to, and it seems like it worked for her. You know, it seemed like she was able to put it all back together at the end. You know, like even her relationship with her family. Well, it seems like everything's back to normal now. It's about as good as it can get.
And her career was kind of different in the fact that she was on a kids show for primarily only kid audience, and then she had to make a hard stop and a hard transition. Most artists, like a Taylor Swift, can gradually do it through their music and stuff. And do you think about that, like the marketing side of that?
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. So luckily, like, I don't think I'm as big, you know, that it was that big of a deal for me to go more rocky.
Okay.
So I was fortunate with that. But yeah, no, like, you know, I have like such a younger fan. I mean, it's weird. Like I have, you know, people like y'all's age, you know, not saying that. I see it. I don't like adults. Like
me and Miami Joe.
I have like the adults, right?
Miami Joe's oldest.
I'm the oldest.
Yeah. Well, not Miami Joe. He hit the hard streets of Miami.
But he doesn't look like I look the oldest.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Well, what's weird is like I have, you know, I connect more with like adults, but I've always wanted to be like a role model. And so because of like the Taylor Swift upbringing, I do have like a lot of younger fans too. And so even like I wanted to get a tattoo, like a simple, like I want to get homemade tattooed on me, like super little. And my whole team was like freaking out, like Bailey, like we don't know if this is a good idea. Like what if people, you know,
face tattoo, heart.
Yeah, exactly. No, like it's, I mean, it was definitely like more of a struggle as far as maybe like the appearance goes, or like wearing shorts on stage, you know, like stuff like that. It sounds crazy.
I never thought about that, but yeah, you have to think about that stuff.
Because you have a certain amount of your audience is like maybe more conservative, and you really
Samantha's
like
looking
cussing.
at you as if to say you shouldn't wear shorts on stage anymore. Is that what you were saying?
No, I didn't know that was an issue, that wearing shorts on stage.
Well, it could be for like your team. If you're trying to exude, let's say, message or vibe X,
middle America,
and you come out wearing Z, then you know.
I mean, yeah, but she's from Florida. We wear shorts.
I know, but you might be alienating people that
like my daughter. You're a role model. You're dressed too sexy, and like that could be a thing, dude. In the Taylor Swift documentary, like her dad and her team was super worried about her doing anything political. Like when she made when she backed a political candidate, everybody like behind the scenes on the documentary was like, "Don't do it. Why do this? Why do it?" And then she felt that it was necessary in her life to do that, and then she went ahead, but she got a lot of backlash from a lot of people, and you have to think about that at all times.
I think you really do, especially like, you know, it's cool when we do House of Blues. I have like this walkout song, and it's all of my like old interview clippings from when I was like 11 or 12, and people are like, oh, Bailey Callahan, 11-year-old Bailey Callahan, 13-year-old Bailey Callahan, and all these people you have to think have watched me for like 9 years progress in age, progress in songwriting. And so even though that might seem like really nothing, like, you know, it is like, I mean, one of the new things is like my saying is like BFC, so like Bailey F and Callahan is, but like that's like, you know, even kind of edgy for me now, because people who have been with me, you know, I like it.
Of course.
Well, but we kind of know you off the air as being like, you know, more like us than I think more people would know.
Yeah.
Because like other people also think with us that we're always like, I don't know, making like, you know, blue jokes. And we're not. We're not. You know, so there is somewhere in the middle that we fully. Yeah, I can understand.
Fortunately,
that.
I think that's where social media clears a lot of that stuff up, though, is because you can actually go in and like, you know, do the silly things to like go on Facebook Live or whatever.
Show your personality.
Yeah, a little bit more than just like BFC on a shirt.
Yeah, right. No, you know, we've never talked about like, you know, another theme I would say of this month. We've talked a lot about social media and kind of the negative aspects of it. And again, I never thought about there is a positive aspect that you're able to actually be more of yourself to your fans and the people that enjoy your music, other than just like
just your song,
because you're not leaving that T-shirt that might say that up to their imagination. You're able to go there and almost kind of fine tune it and kind of rectify the narrative.
Exactly.
Isn't it funny that in the music business it seems to be more the female artists that when they're young aging to older that suddenly, oh my God, she's wearing less clothing. And
Right.
the real artist, oh, okay, Justin got a tattoo.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants.
It's definitely
the double standard's crazy.
Yeah.
Right, God forbid Bailey wears a smaller shirt and suddenly the whole world freaks out.
Right.
Yeah. It's a crazy double standard.
Social is, but
Yeah, nobody says anything
She's still
about
the same
guys getting
person.
like face tattoo crazy and just tattoo crazy, and
Crazy
you get
beards
one
and-
tiny tattoo, and then it's like
Yeah.
world melting.
Justin Bieber looks like any. Go to
Looks like a
Buffalo.
roofer. It looks like a roofer.
Go to
Did you say go to Bithlo? Is that what you said?
go to Titusville.
That's great.
Bithlo.
No, go to what is it? Go to the what is the
Go to any Jiffy Lube.
Go to the
guy
school
changing
bus
oil.
races.
You're like, is that Justin Bieber? I'm just saying. All right, so let's.
You want to do some music?
Yeah, I want to hear.
Is that cool?
Let's
Can we
do
hear
some music,
Yeah, let's do
yeah.
some music.
Yeah.
I don't know how are we going to work microphones here. Okay. Yeah, last time it worked out all right.
Yeah. I think so.
gonna tune.
I think so.
Yeah, I gotta say thank you guys so much for having me last time. I went in and the video of us playing last time was like one of the most viewed.
It is.
Yeah.
It gets more views. Like people go in and they search her name and then they find her, and then they just and some people I've had listeners tell me that they just took the song and put it in a playlist.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we're basically leeching off your fame right now.
Yeah.
Then one day,
It's like,
when you
happening.
rocket into the stars, and then you leave Miami Joe behind.
Yeah, well, he's working with us now. He's our Miami Joe.
And then, just
That's
be like-
our Renee.
And then you're back in town. We're like, we send you an email, like, please come to the show. You're like, get out of here. Too big for you.
Yeah, it will
Oh,
happen.
never. No, never.
Okay, should we do it? Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little something here. When you're ready.
All right, this is Roll. Oh, I love the reverb you
We'll
put
give you a
on.
little reverb. That's what I did last time. It seemed to work.
Getting me in the zone. Okay. Roll at the wheel on a southbound train, rolling like a ledger, set the record straight. That hole he was digging too deep. Hope she can handle what she stole from me. So I roll. Flow like a river, roll like a coast through the wet I cope. I bet your mama never told you. Burn like a fire, you never see the smoke. I'll be drowning in a bottle, but you're never gonna know. It never gets old. When you're rolling stone, baby, I was born to roll. Gonna roll the dice and I'll take it to the house. Roll against the tide, coming in and going out. Mama rolling her eyes, I'm smoking the tires. Keep it rolling, but I'm gonna set the road on fire. It never gets old. When you're rolling stone, I roll like smoke. My soul can help roll. I roll like smoke. My soul can help roll. I roll like smoke. My soul can help roll. It never gets old. When you're rolling stone, baby, I was born to roll. I was born, baby, I was born to roll. I was born, baby, I was born to roll.
All right. Awesome. That was
Oh my
great.
God, y'all.
Thank you.
Bailey.
Holy moly.
You are super talented, obviously. And
Renee getting a bass solo in the middle of there. I like that, man.
Where can they get the new single?
It'll be on Spotify, Apple Music, really everywhere.
And again, what do they search for?
You can just type in Bailey Callahan.
Okay.
Google, I mean, that's what's cool. As I Googled myself the other day, which is like a blessing and a curse kind of thing, but like everything popped up. So you could Google me, Instagram, all that fun stuff. It's everywhere.
And again, March 13th at House of Blues. She's going to be at, and then what was the other shows you're opening for huge bands?
Well, I have a single release show today, actually, the 28th, at Bonfires in Oviedo.
Oh, that's a great spot.
It's cool. Yeah, really central. Just wanted to keep it low key, just meet people, you know.
Oh, man.
Say hi to all the Cala fans.
See, some of you guys you're gonna, I'll use I'll censor myself. You're gonna F up and meet her while she's like right on the edge.
Yeah.
And then just like us, it'd be us, Miami Joe. You can sit with us in the stands and do nothing.
We'll see it one
We'll be
day.
waving from the top. Will we have enough as a company to at least buy a box at the Amway?
Yeah.
I feel like we could at least have a box at the Amway.
One time. We'll bid on credit and we'll pay it off.
Everybody has to chip in. We'll send somebody with good credit down to buy the tickets. Because you got to put it on an Amex or something.
We'll see it. Bailey Callahan's new single, number 1. We're like, there it is, rocket to the stars.
We're standing out of her bus, and she'll remember us, and then you walk by.
We're like, Bailey!
We got signs,
I feel like to my publicist.
We're like, those are those old guys that did their stinky podcast. Run them over.
Run them over, and then they kill us.
I think you get real mean. You're like, swerve and hit them.
2 bums died underneath the Bailey Callahan bus. Oh my God!
Bailey,
it's always a pleasure seeing you guys.
Thank you so
Bailey,
much.
Renee,
Thank you
guys
very
so
much.
much. You guys are awesome. Where are we at now?
Yeah, we're done.
Oh, we're done.
That's
Yeah.
All right, we got to roll on out of here.
Yeah, there it is. We'll see you next week.